Good morning. I would love it if all of you would stand up and come to the front and join me in this experience that we're going to create. Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot of room up here, so come on up. Around is fine. It's make-believe, so we're going to create something together. I'm not totally sure what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes, but I think it's going to be hopefully really meaningful and really positive. So that's what we're in this experience for. So my name is Chris. I was the lucky beneficiary of Jamin's first 5-minute massage this morning. It was amazing. Highly recommend it. And what we're about to do is, as a group, we're going to do a 5-minute massage for your soul. Okay? And how that's going to happen is through this project that I've inadvertently been a part of or helped start, where we go around and we ask people for a word of intention. So it's one word that you might want to remind yourself of. When you wake up in the morning, you look down on your wrist and you're like, oh, there's something there for you. It could be a challenge that you want to overcome. So if you think about a challenge, it could be if you had a magic wand and you could have more of anything in your life. What's sort of fun about this is that we turn it into a bracelet. So that's sort of the make-believe. It's more like you believe, and then we make a bracelet for you to complete the cycle. So most recently, you may have seen our bracelet on the cover of Time magazine with Kanye West wearing it right there. Here's a close-up of it. His word is beautify, and it's to make the world more beautiful. So if all of us, for just a second, if we all just close our eyes. All right, take a deep breath in, and then we're going to haw it out, okay? Okay, one more time. Last time. So with your eyes closed, just think about what's going on in your life right now. If you could have more of anything in your life right now, what would that be? If you were to wake up tomorrow and there was a word that would help you get to the next chapter of your life or the next phase, what would that word be? If you had a magic wand and you could bring more of anything into your life, what would that be? I'm going to guess, based on my experience of having a number of these conversations, that some of you in the room will already have your word. I will also guess some of you will have multiple words, and that's okay. Some of you won't have any words. So we'll start with those of you that don't have any words. I would say, instead of trying to come up with a word, I would encourage you to just play it out in your mind in sentences. Just sort of think about what is going on in sentence form. You know, I wish I could have more of this. I could use a reminder that did some more of that. And as you go through that process, I think the word will eventually emerge. And it might not happen for a few more minutes. It might not happen for a few more hours. Maybe it might come to you in a few more days. And that's totally okay. It's okay. So if you ever want to open your. So how many of you, this is sort of an experiment, so I'm curious, how many of you have a word in mind? Wow, that's great. So it's about half, okay? And so for the rest of you, we're still thinking about it. So what's been really fun about this process that we've been collecting these stories is the conversation oftentimes will be a catalyst and will help facilitate someone coming up with a word. So what I'm going to have people do is pair up, and you're going to have this little conversation, and you're going to take turns. You're going to have person A, person B, and then person A is going to talk, person B is going to be a facilitator, and then we're going to reverse. And I'm just going to leave a couple tips for making this the best experience possible. One is you're really creating space for each other. So smile, just be inviting, and really it's the energy that you're projecting to each other. That you're here to listen and you're engaged, you're not on your phone, etc. The other thing is you're really helping to be a facilitator, you're helping to process. So what that means is oftentimes I'll get someone and they'll come up to me and their first word will say success. And I'll say, okay, well, what does success mean to you? And I was talking to the owner of a coffee shop recently, and he said, I want this coffee shop to be successful. He just started it. And I said, what does that mean? He says, oh, I think it means I need to build a community here. And so we ended up on the word community. Or if someone else says, I wish I had more time. And I would say, oh, if you had more time, what would you do at that time? And she would say, I would dance more, or I would write more. Because there's oftentimes a passion within us that we know we want to do more of, but we just forget to do it. And oftentimes, as I kind of, in the past week or so, as I started thinking about distilling down the thousands and tens of thousands of stories that I've heard, it usually turns out to be one of these three types. One is, it's helping people sort of what you were saying earlier about getting to more your authentic self. It's being more vulnerable. It's really just what's really going on with you, what really matters. So that's really important in creating the space, creating an open space, an inviting space. Two is oftentimes the word will be something like, I just want to be nice and I want people to be nice to me, or I want to be kind, or I want to remember to be grateful. So it's just a positive vibe. It's a virtue. And then lastly, it'd be something like, it's a goal. It's like, I want to do more of X. I want to explore more. I want to discover more. So that's likely what's going to happen, but I want all of us to try it. I think it'll be really interesting. So if everyone could just pair up in twos, we're going to try this. Okay, so if everyone will find a partner. So your first goal is one person is A and one person is B. Okay, so you guys have to decide who is A and who is B. All right, so who are the A's? Okay, we got the A's figured out. Okay, so person A is going to go first, and person B, it's really important, you're simply just going to keep asking questions. You're not going to interject your own story. You're not going to be like, oh, your word is balance. Oh, well, mine is too, and let me tell you about my version of balance. That's not what this is about. So this is about you really just listening and helping the other person process through it, because that person may actually have one word, and oftentimes the experience, they'll actually come up with a second word, and then they'll land on a third word. And it's this interesting journey that happens. So for the next 2 minutes, person A is going to share, person B is just going to be a catalyst. Okay, so go. Okay, we're down to 30 seconds, so if you start wrapping it up. Okay. If we can bring it to a close, we're going to switch. All right, where are the person Bs? Raise your hand, please. Person Bs. Okay. So hopefully that is just the beginning of a great conversation that will happen later. So now it's time for person B to share his or her word, and then person A is going to be the facilitator, the catalyst. It's 2 minutes. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay. So it looks like everyone's really enjoying your conversations. If I can have everybody just raise your hands real quick. We're going to do a group stretch. All right, group stretch. All right, how's everyone feeling? Okay, good. So, what's going to be two surprises for you. We have these stickers that are, I believe, in the outer rows here that say, hello, my word is. So I would love it if everyone would get a sticker and write your word and put it on you. So for the rest of the day during the breaks, when you're interacting with each other, you have the option to talk about your word. And if you're someone that's still figuring it out, that's totally okay. You'll have more conversations maybe over the course of the day, and maybe as you get more inspired by other speakers, you'll come up with your word. And if not, sometimes it'll come to you in a few days. So that's totally fine. The other thing that is, we have a team back there that we will actually make these bracelets for you as well. So if you come see us, then we will make these for you as both either a bracelet or as a necklace that you can wear close to your heart. So with that, everyone's good? Any thoughts for me? Like, I want to have a conversation. Like, what? I feel a little bit alone up here, actually. I don't know, is any thoughts or?
What's your word?
What's my word? The last word, oh, that's a really good question. I've had 15 words. The first word I had was impact, because I wanted to make a difference with my life. And this was my friend Ingrid who actually created this concept, and she came to my birthday party and said, I want to make intention bracelets for you and your guests. I didn't know what that meant. But she asked me for a word of intention. I gave it to her, and there we were. A week later, she gave me a kit. I was moving to LA, started making these, and off we go. I've had impact. I've had the word clarity. I've had love. I've had family, serve, courage, grounded, acceptance, truth. The word I'm wearing here is balance. because it turns out I'm actually pretty bad at both personal and professional. I'm either usually one or the other, and I'm learning that it's okay, I can have it all. The other word I have on my hand is the word home, which I've been traveling a lot, and it's just, I want to feel centered and I want to feel connected to the people that I care about, and so sometimes I guess I have two words. So with that, I think, any other thoughts or questions? What's your word? Actually, the way we connected, the way this whole thing happened is pretty neat.
So I actually have one of these bracelets, and my word is who, and it's kind of a double-layered meaning. One is that I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I love the values of the show, and I remind myself of them. But the other is that's why I love my intent. Like I feel like I have to remember who I am every day, so I can make decisions in the context of who I am. So it's a reminder to be myself all the time.
I'm actually curious what your word is.
My word.
Today, or the word you just created?
The word we started with was vulnerability, but it was really to have faith. So faith in myself to remember to be it.
So as the conversation happened, it actually evolved and got deeper and deeper. It's beautiful. Okay, time's up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Pan, and I'm the founder of the By Intent Project. What we do is we go around and we ask people for a word of intention. So that word could be something that is a challenge that you want to overcome. It could be something that if you wake up tomorrow morning and you want to look down on your wrist and it's going to help you achieve that goal that you have, or it's just something that you believe in. It's something that reminds you of your purpose in life. So we ask for one word, and then we'll take that word and we'll typically make it into a bracelet or a necklace. So here's a prototype that we're working on. The word I'm wearing right here is the word trust, as I'm learning to trust. This project came from a desire to bring more meaningfulness and more positivity into my life. So I had a birthday party a couple years ago where I invited my friends from San Francisco. I was living in San Francisco. We had some stretching, some Tai Chi, we had some meditation, some singing, some improv comedy, some painting. And my friend Ingrid said, hey, I want to come and make intention bracelets there. And I said, I don't know what that is, but sure, sounds great. And she then, after the program, said, give me a word of intent. And at that moment I said, my word is impact, because I want to remind myself to make a difference with my life, to do something meaningful. And then a few minutes later, she comes back and she puts a bracelet on my wrist with the word impact on it. And a week later, she gave me a kit as I was moving from San Francisco to LA and said, hey, go make these for people in LA. So I started hosting events in my home at West Hollywood. I nicknamed it Spirit Lab because I wanted it to be a place where people came, they were very hands-on, and would do things that made them feel good. Things that were meaningful, things that were positive. And what I noticed was, we would have a booth, an intention booth, where people could have intention bracelets made. I would have my friends volunteer to make these for each other. And the conversations were very different at this event than if I didn't have the intent booth, because people were, as soon as they came in, people said, hey, what's your word? And people were like, what's that? And we would explain the concept. It's a word, it's a challenge you want to overcome, or it's something that you want to remind yourself of as, set as a daily reminder, a conversation starter. And people started asking for these for their mom, for their friends, and we just saw just the magic of this experience. So we work with a number of different charities to help them fundraise, and they will promote this concept to their members, so it sort of helps their members be more intentional, and then we take the proceeds and we share it back with the charity partners. And there's one in particular that we also are very close with, which is the Hoffman Foundation. And they put together this thing called the Hoffman Process, which is an 8-day intensive residential retreat up in Napa that I personally went through, and it had a huge impact on my life. And we've funded scholarships to that program. I ran into Jay-Z at Soho House, and he loved the concept, and he said, hey, can you come make these at my brunch next weekend? It was the Rock Nation brunch for the Grammys. So we ended up making it for a number of his friends, including Rihanna, Beyonce, Kanye, etc. And a couple weeks ago, it was a wonderful surprise to us that Kanye, on the cover of the Time 100, was wearing the bracelet. And that definitely got a lot more people. I think a lot of people were already interested in us, but that definitely got a lot more people's attention and said, wait, what is this? Why is this on the cover of Time 100, which is the most influential 100 people, and why is that person wearing this bracelet? And it's definitely put a whole new level of interest in the project.
What makes My Intent so much different than a jewelry company is that we connect with each person that orders a piece from us. Our pieces are meant to support somebody's intention. You know, they're not just meant to match an outfit.
It's hand stamped. There's value in the quality. It's not a machine that's stamping your word. Someone's putting the thought into each individual letter.
It actually helps to connect with each customer when they put their a story on their orders, because it gives me an idea of why they chose the word that they wanted.
One thing that I guess I've learned from reading some of the stories is the fact that we all aren't that different. And seeing how some people struggle with weight or have lost relationships, I too have had the same problems.
When I read a word without a story, it just makes me curious, because now I really want to know why they chose that word.
I love being a part of the My Intent project because I get to see that dreams get to come true, that if you work hard enough at what you want, it can happen, and you get to be a part of other people's lives across the world.
One of the things that I want people to realize when they receive their bracelets is that it is more than just a bracelet. Whatever the word may be, it's an intention to be that.
Life is just a series of intentions.
Hi Stampers, I'm Tara. Today we'll be working on improving our stamping skills. I have tips on centering, grounding, letter spacing, and stamping multiple words on one token. From our Maker's Kit, I went ahead and set up our lamp, our hammer, letter stamps, stamping plate, and the token and bracelet that I will be stamping. Notice that each letter stamp is engraved with the actual letter on the front of the stamp. Make sure that this letter is facing you when you stamp. This way you can avoid the common mistake of stamping your letter upside down. To find the center point on the token, look between the inner edge and outer edge of the token. Make sure that your letter isn't hanging too far off the edge, but also make sure that your letter isn't leaning against the center part of the plate. Now that your letter is centered, go ahead and slide your fingers down the stamp until they meet the plate. This is to firmly ground your stamp. We want to firmly ground our stamp so that when we take our hammer and we hit the letter, it won't jiggle or move or bounce. If it has any room to bounce, you could potentially end up with a double stamped letter. Next, take a look at your stamp from above and make sure that it looks straight. Take your hammer, point your elbow out, take a deep breath, stay focused, and stamp. You want to keep your hammer as flat as possible so that when you stamp the letter will be engraved evenly on the token. Rotating a token the same amount between each letter creates equal spacing across the word. When you have a shorter word, you can space it a little wider. If you have a longer word, you can tighten it up. Everyone has a unique style, so practice and find what works for you. For necklaces, the token is hanging from one fixed point, so if you're stamping multiple words, you can actually stamp the letters continually all the way around the token. If you're stamping multiple words on a bracelet, the first word will go on top and the second word will go on the bottom. This way, the sides of your bracelet won't get in the way of your intention. Start with the longest word first. So for example, if my intention is to stay focused, I'll start stamping the word focused first. Now that I stamped focused, I'm gonna go ahead and flip my stamping plate 180 degrees and then spin my token so I can create space to stamp the word stay. If that word had an odd number of letters, I would take the center letter and align that with the center letter in focused, which is the U. Stay has an even number of letters, so I want the space between the T and the A to align with the letter U. It's all about getting comfortable and gaining confidence. When you practice mindfulness and stamping, the centering, alignment, and spacing is gonna get easier and even become automatic. And maybe you'll increase those virtues in your life as well. We thank you so much for tuning in today. We know that you're gonna rock out on stamping, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
So the tie-on bracelet is designed to be tied on to someone and stay on as a daily reminder, and when it falls off, then it usually means that you are done with that word and you pick a new word. So to start, I usually ask the person, which wrist would you like to have it on? If the person has a watch, which is quite often, I usually recommend the wrist that doesn't have the watch. And so maybe we'll select the right side. So I'll say turn the wrist over. With your other hand, put your index finger there, perfect. Go below, pull over on both sides. So you make one knot like this, nice and snug. So the one finger here is used as a placer. The second knot, I will recommend reversing the direction so that it creates a square knot. Okay, and then the third one, we're gonna reverse direction again, yet another square knot. The reason we do that is so that it's on nice and snug and it's not gonna fall off. If you don't tie it on tight, then after a couple days, the bracelet's just gonna fall off and the person's gonna be very sad because he or she will have just lost the bracelet. And then you just leave a little bit left and then you snip it, and that's it. Hi, my name is Chris Pan, and my word is impact. I wanted to really make a difference, and the way that I get to do that is by asking people for their word. What do you want on your bracelet?
That's a good question. Worthy. Oh, you're about to blow my mind right now. Are you doing this by hand?
There's something really powerful about picking just that one word that really embodies what you really want. Maybe it's a reminder to be present. Maybe it's a reminder to breathe. It's whatever we need.
Thank you so much.
It was never about just making jewelry. It was never about having a bracelet company. It's permission to go deep. It's permission to be vulnerable. You know, when we look back in 3 years and 5 years, what will you have done with your life? What difference will you have made? If we can remember that one thing that's the most important, a word that you put on your wrist, then it's impactful.
My word is ethical because since the first day I've been in business, I do not let money control my decisions or personality. You don't have to be greedy. Relationships are way more important to me than money because it all comes down to how many people are carrying that casket to your grave, not how much cash is sitting around your dead body inside that box.
So we are now delighted to bring you some more personal inspiration for all of you here at the main stage presentation. Our next guest is the founder of the My Intent Project, Chris Pan. Now, Chris is on a mission to be a catalyst for meaningful conversation and positive energy no matter what you do in life and business. After a successful business career, which included working as a McKinsey & Company consultant, marketing director at PepsiCo, and nearly 5 years working at Facebook, he took a break to travel. And as he reflected on what to do next, he kept asking myself, what does the world need more of? He was reading world headlines of bullying, personal anguish, catastrophes, and yet conversely was unfulfilled with stories from friends and acquaintances talking on social media about what they had for lunch. Big disconnect he was recognizing there. The marketer in him saw a need for emotional and spiritual fitness, simple things such as the practice of being present, of being grateful, of letting go, acceptance, and of course, finding purpose and meaning. And so began My Intent. Now, as Chris will soon point out, this is not just a jewelry company, but an intentions project. He believes there is purpose within each of us. He encourages people to share truths to drive success by simply putting your word of intent on your bracelet or necklace as a positive daily reminder, as well as sparking immediate conversation and connections with others. The project has absolutely taken off, with word spreading organically, including many celebrities such as Jay-Z to Rihanna to Katie Couric and Conan O'Brien proudly wearing bracelets. Kanye West, in fact, graced the cover of Time magazine wearing his bracelet with the word beautify. Now, although it looks like a simple piece of jewelry, its magic is in connecting people with the power of their own intention. And now we bring this magic to the stage. Please welcome Chris Pan.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take it away.
So Lisa, just have one question for you.
Yes.
And I'm going to make you a bracelet live.
Oh, that's all you need to make me a bracelet?
Yeah, we're going to do it live. Is that?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what would your word be? What would you want to remind yourself every day?
It has to have intent. Oh, that's a hard one. I have a lot of words that I would say action.
Okay.
Because for me, I feel that every individual has the power to be an influential force in our world. So I would say action.
Would you say more about the action that you want to take, or you want to remind yourself as I'm making this? tell us more about how you see this.
But I'm supposed to be
out.
interviewing. No, I've really tried in my work to produce positive change and to inspire people to think. And I think right now, as we all know, there's so much discord in our world, in our country, and I feel like people are talking at each other and not to each other. There's so much bullying and harassment. And I just think that, or I have always wanted to just try and do my part to change that conversation and to promote people to help their fellow man or woman. So that's why I chose action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so close your eyes. Here, give me one of your wrists, whichever one you want to wear it up. So think about, just internalize all that you just shared with us about the action that you want to take. Take a deep breath. Breathe it in. And there you are.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much for what you do.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go get crazy with Lisa backstage. Chris, take it away. Thank you all.
All right, good afternoon. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here. So I'd love to help everyone here find your word, whatever that might be. So does that sound good? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get up off our seats. We're just going to do a simple stretch, all right? So some of you are ahead of the game, so up. All right, so we're going to go over this way. Take a deep breath in, back to the center. Big sigh out. How's that feel? Good? All right, one more time. All right, now let's have some fun. You guys ready? All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to start, because most of us live in our heads, and most of us hold a lot of stress on our shoulders, especially, kind of hunched over across a laptop. So we're just going to kind of move the shoulders a little bit. All right, doing well. Now we're going to start shaking the hands a little. We're gonna start just shaking. There you go. You guys are amazing. Wow. All right, now we're just gonna start waking up the body a little bit. There's a lot of wisdom that we hold in our bodies, so sometimes you don't get to the masseuse that often because we're busy, but sometimes you can just do this. All right, so now we're just gonna go down the sides. All right, now we're gonna try something really fun. All right, we're gonna go back up like this. Now everyone face this way. Now if there's someone in front of you, just put your hands on the shoulder of the person in front of you. Now you're gonna squeeze a little bit and just start, there you go. There you go. How's that feel? Are we feeling more positive yet? Should we just do this for the next 20 minutes? All right, if you guys wanna just chop a little bit, just give it some karate chops. Amazing. Those of you at the front, just relax, just enjoy. There you go. All right, now everyone, hands back up. We're just gonna turn back over and then drop your hands on the person in front. Return the favor. So start kneading a little bit. There you go. If you're not close to someone, make sure you, it looks like everyone's all paired up. All right. If you want to start chopping, doing some little chops. All right. All right, give yourselves a big hand. So have a seat. You guys feeling a little better already? I'm a fellow small business owner, and I can relate. You know, everyone comes to you for all the problems. You're the one that has to make all the decisions. And so something as simple as just moving some energy around. I'm going to take you through a little simple breathing exercise now, and we'll start to get centered and getting into your own truth. So if you want to just kind of close your eyes. Now we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And hold that breath. All right, and then let it out through the mouth. All right, we're gonna one more time. Inhale through the nose, and hold it. Big sigh out. One more time, in through the nose. Now we're gonna do a big sigh out with a smile. There you go. Now keep your eyes closed. Yesterday morning, Brad invited everyone to think about, what are your values? What is your mission? What does success look like? So now I'm gonna create some time. We've had a couple busy days here. I'm just gonna create a few minutes for you to just kind of let that all just soak in. And continue to just take some deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Dreams. What is your dream? What does success look like? personally, professionally. So when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. How was that? All right. So we, early on, made it very clear that this wasn't about just making jewelry, that this was about the meaningful conversations and the positive energy that I was craving, and that a lot of my friends were craving. And so we'd love to try some meaningful conversations here. What I'm going to invite you to do is in a second, I'm going to have you pair up and you're going to have a conversation with someone you don't know. So that's the key, is you're going to get in front of and pair up with someone you don't know. And the ground rules for being the listener is it's only going to be for like a minute each question, is you're going to be inviting, just be open. You're going to be curious, acknowledge, you're not going to interject with your own story, but you're really going to let the other person you're going to hold space for the other person, and you're going to be supportive. In the same way, if you do partner stretching, you can only stretch so far on your own, but if you have a good partner, you can get a little deeper. So in the same way, a good conversation, it's almost like going to a therapist, but you can go a little deeper that you may not even realize certain things about yourself. And so that's what we're going to play with in the next couple minutes. So if you will quickly stand up and stand in front of someone that you don't know. I'll give you 15 seconds to do that. Go. So find someone you don't know, and quickly have one person raise your hand as partner A. Whoever wants to be partner A, raise your hand. And if you don't have a partner, come into the aisle, and then the people in the aisle will find each other. So if you don't have a partner, come in the aisle. Partner A, raise your hand. So you guys have a look at these questions. So partner A is going to go first. So partner A, you're going to pick one of these questions and you're going to answer it in the next minute. And partner B, you're just going to hold space and be a good listener and explore what that really means. So I'm going to give you a minute. Pick one of the 6 questions and share with partner B. Go. Yeah, partner A, pick any question you want and share your answer with partner B. All right, 10 seconds left. We're going to bring that to a close. All right, so partner B, I want you to raise your hand. So partner B, thank you for being a great listener. Now it's your turn. And the question for you is, how are you making a difference in this world? And partner A, you get to be the listener now. You have a minute. Go. All right, 10 seconds left. All right, now we're gonna go back to partner A. So partner A, you ready? Where's partner A? There we go. So now the fun part is, if you were to choose a word, and if I were able to come and make you a bracelet, what word would you choose? So partner A, your turn to pick a word. And if you don't know, some of you might not know what your word would be. I would encourage you not to think of the word, but just say, hey, here's what I want to work on in my life. Here's what I want to bring into my life. Think about the biggest challenge you're facing and how you might overcome that. Or if there's something you know you want to spend more time on. And just speak in sentences, and somewhere along the way, the answer will come to you. So go. All right, 10 seconds. All right, so we're gonna switch now. So partner B, it's your turn to come up with your word, and partner A is gonna be the listener. So we're gonna switch. All right, so show of hands, how many of you have a word picked out that you think you're reasonably happy with? All right. And if you haven't, that's okay, because sometimes it takes a day or two or three and it'll come to you, but I think what's important is the process. So if you guys will return back to your seat, we're just gonna wrap up with a couple of stories, and so I'm often asked, what are some of the more memorable words that I've received? And this was one of the first ones that I got. I was making this at a friend's gathering, and a gentleman comes up and says, would you make me one? I said, of course. He said, my word is 15, which is a bit unusual. I said, oh, what is that? This is a gentleman probably in his 40s, 50s. And he says, in January, I'll be sober for 15 years. That was one of the moments that I felt like, wow, this is actually something that I can keep going with. Because sometimes I wonder about my career, about just, I'm sitting around, stamping metal for people, but there's a little bit more to it than that. This one I saw on social media a few months back. I chose stay alive because suicidal thoughts and actions are something I struggle with, but I choose to stay alive. This bracelet is the only piece of jewelry I begged them to let me wear into surgery. It was made by X-Country 12 as part of one of her fundraisers for Try for a Cure this summer, and I was worried they would make me cut it off. It says, "Courage," and I know it won't stay on forever eventually. The string will wear down and it will fall off. However, I believe it will fall off as soon as the world thinks I no longer need it. I believe life wanted me to have it for this big surgery and to carry courage into the operating room with me, which I did like a boss. It was so nice to wake up and look down and see this word staring at me. Cancer requires a certain amount of faith, bravery, hope, and courage. Cancer is a jerk face, hashtag courage, hashtag double mastectomy, hashtag fuck cancer, hashtag stronger together, hashtag breast cancer. Early on, we only made the bracelets, the finished pieces, available, and about a year in, I pushed to have the kits available. And people were looking at me like, why would you do that? Why would you give away the magic sauce? And I said, we're not in the jewelry business. We're in the business of helping people have meaningful connections. And there's nothing more magical than being able to sit in front of someone, ask them their word, and actually making a piece for them. And so since we actually, logistically, it was a massive challenge, but we did it. And now we actually have kits available for people to do it at their own gatherings, fundraisers. These are our youngest makers. Kyan, she's on the right, she's 10. This is in Bali at the Green School. So she's been doing this for her classmates and using the proceeds as a fundraiser. And so we've got people around the world that have these kits that are also doing it, which makes me really happy. One of the more I get asked, what is the most unique or different word that you probably didn't expect you would get? And this is courtesy of Mr. Conan O'Brien, of course. I walk up to him and said, hey, Conan, so what's your word? And he's like, what do you mean? And I kind of take him through it. And he says, can you put a phrase on there? And I said, huh? He said, does this matter on my deathbed? That's what he originally wanted on his bracelet. I said, no, I don't think we can fit that, but how about deathbed? He's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And he explained that a lot of the things that he stresses about, ultimately, it doesn't really matter. And this is one of the things I think about a lot, too. As I, as a small business owner, have a lot of stresses and a lot of things going on. I'm like, in the end, it probably doesn't matter. And this is one final story from his wife, Liza, actually. She wanted the word perhaps. And it's inspired by a Japanese fable. There was a farmer. He had a horse. The horse ran away. Neighbors said, oh, we're so sorry your horse ran away. And he says, well, perhaps. Next day, the horse comes back with 2 wild horses. And the neighbors are all like, oh, wow, that's great, congrats. And the farmer says, well, perhaps. Next day, the son rides one of the wild horses out and ends up breaking a leg. And the neighbors are so sad and say, oh, we're so sorry. And the farmer goes, well, perhaps. Next day, the army comes to try to recruit the son, to enlist the son, and because of his broken leg, he didn't end up having to get drafted. And then the neighbors are congratulating him, and the farmer says, well, perhaps. And this is something that I have used as a reminder for myself when things are seemingly up or seemingly down. It's just a way for me to just stay kind of even and balanced. It's been such a privilege to ask thousands and thousands of people for their word because it's been such a fun experience in getting to know people as well as in hearing a lot of wisdom. And so I invite you, when you go back with your team members, with your clients, with your family members this holiday season, take the conversation down a little deeper, and just ask them, hey, if you were to pick a word, like what would you choose, or what's your dream, and kind of go there, because I feel like in our everyday life, a lot of times we stay a little bit on the surface, and it's really amazing when we just take a little plunge down. Would love to stay connected with everyone on social media. We're at MyIntent, hashtag MyIntent everywhere, mostly Instagram, Facebook, lots of inspiring stories. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be here. Thank you so much.
We are back on a Sunday morning with the story behind a bracelet that has a lot of people talking. Chanel has that for us.
Yes, I have 3 of them. I love them. So the man who created these bracelets wanted to find a way for people to communicate in a meaningful way. And he had no idea that when he started, his jewelry would be snatched up so quickly and by so many celebrities.
Rihanna chose faith. Beyonce, surrender. Michael Bolton, compassion. Larry King, why? These bracelets, a celebrity favorite. But the man who invented them says he's not running a jewelry company.
I think we're all hungry for something a little bit deeper, a little bit more meaningful, something more positive than what you see out there.
He started My Intent as just a side project to encourage people to think about the purpose of their life. It's simple, just a string and a circle engraved with a word of your choosing, whether it's your dream for the future or just something special to you.
For the first year, it was just a passion. It was just a gift that I've made and given away thousands of these.
But that all changed one night when he saw Jay-Z sitting in the corner of an LA club and made him a bracelet with the word educate and the initials of his Sean Carter Foundation.
I walk up to Jay-Z and I said, "Hi, my name is Chris. I have a gift for you."
Jay-Z was so taken with the project, he invited Pan to a Grammys brunch he was hosting to make bracelets. It was there he made a bracelet for Kanye West with the word beautify.
Fast forward 3 months later, I'm in Bali doing some meditation, open up my Instagram, and I see the Time.com account with a photo of Kanye wearing the bracelet on the cover of the Time 100. I couldn't believe it. I thought somebody maybe photoshopped it.
It was in that moment Pan realized this was more than just a passion project.
How has Instagram and social media changed what you do?
We wanted to encourage people to really share their word, and social media has been really powerful for us.
I love it. I'm now a proud owner of one as well. My word, purpose.
I feel like what I do for a living is bigger than me, and it's my purpose. So if days are long, I feel like I, miss taking the twins somewhere, or miss taking my 5-year-old to school that one day. If I remind myself that I'm living my purpose, they're going to be better, I'm going to be better, and I just think it's a better me. It keeps me going. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to meet you.
I said it was an honor to meet you, and I really meant it. Every once in a while you'll do a story where you're really touched by the person that you interview. He has such a wonderful spirit. Listen, he worked on Facebook. He was doing pretty well in life, let me just say. And he's like, you know what? I want to do something where I feel like I'm fulfilled. And you get excited picking words. So I put my kids' initials on there, and I said love. I picked grateful. I picked purpose. As you can see, I kind of got carried away making bracelets.
I thought those were for us, but
right?
I see they're all for you.
What would your word be? You think about that. What word would you choose, especially if you could only choose one?
Grateful.
Grateful.
You asked us at one point, I chose the grateful bracelet. Yeah.
What about you, Harry?
Peace.
I thought family.
Family.
Yeah.
Well, I would encourage you at home to think about your word.
It's hard to come up with one word that kind of encompasses everything you feel and believe.
It's true. I always tell kids what you think about, you bring about. So sometimes I feel like if you're looking at a word, purpose or grateful or peace, I feel like you channel that. So I think it's a win. What you think about, you bring about. Oh, I believe it.
Like that a lot.
Absolutely.
That's great.
All right.
Here we are. They're the bracelets and the necklaces that have been creating meaningful conversations, starting with just one word.
That's right, but it all started with a chance meeting for Chris Pan and a determination to engage people with his work. And Chris joins us now to share the ideas behind My Intent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We sort of snuck up on you.
Right.
We light one
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, we're doing it right now. This is going to happen right now.
You grew up in this area, but you live in LA now, right?
I did. I grew up in Montgomery.
Okay, cool. So this project, did you start it out in LA or did you start it when you were here?
Out in LA.
Okay, but then it really took off when you got in touch with, who was it first? Was it Jay-Z first?
It was Jay-Z. Yeah, that was really a
Just
big
a
turning
guy,
point.
you might know him.
Whatever.
Jay-Z.
Give us that story, because it really is a pretty fascinating story.
I saw him in the back of a club in LA, a private members club, and I walked up to him and said, "I have a gift for you." And he was very receptive, and we talked, and he said, "Hey, next weekend, can you come and make these for my friends at my brunch? Because we can do it live. We've done this live for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We could do some now." And
unbelievable.
And then it showed up on the cover of Time magazine 3 months later.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
But tell us sort of the idea behind it, because it's not just about the bracelet or just
No,
about
not at
the
all. We
necklace.
actually put in our mission statement that we're not a jewelry company.
Yeah.
So the idea is to help people with deeper connections, meaningful conversations, positive energy, and it was something that I was craving, sense of community,
It's something that's so simple, and I've had friends who've gotten these, and they call me and say, hey, I need to get one for my mom, I need to get one for my brother, my friends, or I need another one for myself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep up with the requests anymore, so eventually I had to open a website, started hiring some people. But what's even the most exciting is we now offer the tools so you can do it yourself. Because before you can only get bracelets from us, but these tools right here, and my dad who's in the audience, he actually designed this to make it super easy to do. And because what's powerful is not only do you, because this whole experience is not only about you setting your own intention and finding your own word, but it's holding space for someone else and helping that person find their word.
So if you've got the toolkit, you're not only making one for yourself, but you meet somebody and they
you
find
make it
their
for them,
word.
you make it for Jay-Z, or you make it for Beyonce. You never know.
He and I are actually having brunch soon too.
There you go.
We're not, but
Could you show us live?
Yeah, we could
how you
totally
do
do one. Do you guys have another word in mind that we can do live?
John Lomax, you need one.
You need a word? John, come in here.
What are we doing? What's your word of intention?
Come on in here.
And so while he's coming in here,
what was your word, Jen?
My word is believe.
Oh, okay.
Here's mine right now. And you kind of gave us a 3-step process to figure out your word.
Yeah, there's a few questions that we often use to take people through their word.
This is John. Chris.
So, Chris, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So the first question that often helps is, what's a virtue you want more of in your life?
Persistence.
There you go.
Okay.
Right? So we could do that.
Okay.
The second question we often ask is, if you think about the biggest challenge in your life right now, what would it take to overcome that challenge?
Yeah. Money.
Right?
That should be yours right there, money. Just $2 signs.
No, just kidding.
And lastly, we often think about what's a passion that you want to spend more time on? Because a lot of times there are things that we want to do, but because of life, we get busy and we forget to do those things. And so if there's something...
Oh, love.
Yeah.
There you go, love.
So out of those, if there's one that you want to wake up tomorrow morning and you want to see on your wrist, what would you like to see?
Persistence.
Okay. So we're going to do, which color would you like?
Blue.
All right. Do you have the preference between the silver and the gold?
No preference.
Okay. This is in my hand. So let's just do the word, we'll do persist for now, just in the interest of time.
Would work,
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take the letter. So what's amazing about this is we made it super easy. Before, you have a metal base where it would just slide all over.
Yeah.
And it would be difficult, right? But my dad, who's an engineer, he was
Dad
an
came
engineer.
up with it. I like it, man. I like
for GE aircraft engines for over 30 years. He designed this. So you see how it sits nice and neat like that?
Yeah.
And all you do is just rotate it. It's super easy, so anybody can do this. We've had 10-year-olds do this as fundraisers for like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, churches, yoga studios.
And boom,
So there's
P. And you can buy these kits on your website.
Yeah, we have the kits. We've had over 10,000 people get kits and do this in their local communities, which is really the magic.
I'm doing this today. I'm buying one today. This is amazing.
Well, and I just love the fact that you're not. I guess the best way to say you're not keeping it for your own.
Right.
You're sharing with other people the way to do it.
Because that's the whole point. People thought we were crazy for giving away the secret sauce, but we're like, no. The whole point is to have that in-person interaction, connection. When you give it to someone, they light up. I mean, it's just the best feeling.
And I know you were saying too, and I'm a big believer in the power of intent and intention, and you're putting what you intend right on your body, so you can see it every day. And I get up and I'm going to believe, whatever I need to that day, that things are going to be okay. That's going to be a good day.
It really is easy to lapse into negativity, and if you have just a little reminder that no, it shouldn't be like that. That you should persist in being a good person.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Wow, and just
there
like
you
that,
are.
it's
There you go.
it's ready.
Just like that, it's done under a minute.
So cool.
Well, and you persist. Let's both hold them up. You persist.
Yeah, we all
about
have
being
ours.
positive, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
We all get them all in there.
Shablam.
There we go. Chris, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to get a whole lot more information. We're
Thank
going to
you
link
so
to your
much.
website on local12.com.
Yeah.
Just a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
Just
you.
good vibrations, man.
Yeah, thanks for spreading joy in a world that really needs it right now.
All right, let's end it.
It's not about how expensive it is or how fancy it is, but it's really connecting people to their purpose and what their impact in the world.
Here you go. What do you think?
It's absolutely magnificent. Thank you so much.
The real magic of the project and the experience is when you help others find their word, because you get to learn so much wisdom, and the other person is usually very grateful and feels very positive, and you get this rush of positivity back, and you get this beautiful connection that happens.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
So I was born in Taipei, Taiwan, and I was there till I was 7. And then I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, because my parents were there. Basically was there through high school. I came to Ohio State University, and then since I've, kind of made a loop around the world and back.
Brother went to Ohio State, so there you go. Dave went to us. Oh, look, you see Brutus right there?
My experience at Ohio State was partly in the classroom, but a lot of it, I would say the majority of it was outside the classroom. I was just fascinated with learning and just being exposed to all the things that weren't necessarily the core academic stuff, as well as opportunities for me to just get my hands in there and do stuff. I was amazed at what the professors and staff were asking me to do. And it really stretched me, and it gave me a whole nother level of confidence that has then, when I saw Jay-Z in the corner of a club in LA, I just walked up and it was not a big deal. It's those experiences and having those mentors, their voices in my head, have kind of made me who I am. When I got to Facebook in 2007, it was the dream place to work. Everyone was smart, talented, collaborative. We all loved the product. By December, user growth had slowed down. Things had really plateaued. I took it upon myself to really look into the data for the truth rather than opinions or just hypothesis. And that kicked off a whole number of initiatives to help users find friends, and then growth started back up. That was one big contribution I had at Facebook. And then the other really unique experience I had at Facebook was helping Mark Zuckerberg learn Mandarin. And then I left Facebook. I had this feeling that my time was up and I wanted to travel and just figure out what was next.
One word you want to remind yourself when you wake up tomorrow.
Happy.
What is it?
Happy.
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 One of the questions I used to ask myself when I was trying to figure out what to do next, which is, what do you want to see more of in this world? Whether it could be more kindness, more patience, more forgiveness. What's the virtue that you want for yourself? And all of us make a difference in different ways, whether it's with our family members, our community, the world at large. There's different ways that we can all make a contribution.
Good afternoon. We need you guys to amp it up a little bit. There isn't enough energy in this room. Welcome to the 2018 M&IW Summit Employee Exchange. You excited to be here? Woo! Yesterday, I had the distinct privilege of emceeing our Client Connect event and introducing our keynote presenter. So today, Tina said, since you introduced the presenter yesterday, it makes sense that you would do it again today. And I said, okay, then I'll do that. So you have your bracelets? Everybody got a bracelet? Raise your hands. Woo! Power to the people! My bracelet says refresh. And yesterday morning when I got on the stage, and I looked at my slides and my notes, and I was going through my routine and welcoming our clients, I realized I didn't have the magic clicker in my hand. And I froze, and I thought, oh no, where's the clicker? And I look, and it was over here, and I ran for the clicker, and I run back, but then I don't know what I was supposed to say. And I'm like, crap, can we do this over? And I'm live streaming. No, you can't have a do-over. Yes, you can, right, because I got a refreshed bracelet, right? And last night, Chris made me a necklace, so I got it all going on. Maybe I'll put it on my ankles and all over. And the point that I made yesterday when I got back on stage to address our clients was that we try to script life. We try to perfect things. But the reality of it is that life isn't scripted. It's not perfected. And as hard as we try as an organization, there are times where we may stumble, we may fall, but that's okay because every day we just strive to get a little bit better. So I am really excited to introduce Chris Pan. With a Harvard MBA and having consulted Fortune 100 clients at McKinsey, marketing beverages at Pepsi-Cola, growing Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg, he never imagined that he would be selling bracelets. He is the founder of myintent.org, asking the world, what is your word? With the mission of being a catalyst for meaningful conversations and positive energy. It's all yours. Welcome, my friend. Get him going. All right.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
All right, food coma's not too bad. We're good. We're gonna be good. So how many of you have experienced a gap in your life where maybe things weren't working out quite the way that you imagined it? Yeah? Okay. Maybe you're not in the right career, or maybe the relationship isn't quite where you want it to go, or maybe you're not even in a relationship. So 6 years ago, I had probably the biggest gap in my life. I'd worked at Facebook for 6 years with Mark and helping build Facebook. And I left, I grew up in an immigrant family where it was all about straight A's and financial security. So after the Facebook IPO, I thought I had it made. I started traveling around the world with my girlfriend at the time. We'd been dating for 5 years. But I felt really lost and empty and disconnected, and just, it wasn't right. It was probably the lowest I'd ever been in my life when I thought I should have been at the highest point in my life. A friend suggested I check out this place called the Hoffman Process. I had just broken up with that girl. We're still really good friends right now, so it's all good. And I never thought I'd check into a place like this. They take away your phone, they take away your laptop, and you're there doing 14 hours of deep inner work every day. But at this place, they had a concept called the quadrinity, which is the 4 aspects of self. And I realized I spent probably 80% of my life up to that point on my intellectual self, and maybe 20% on my physical self, but I completely neglected my emotional and spiritual sides. You know, things like being grateful, things like taking a deep breath and being still, things like forgiveness, just basic concepts that I never worked on. And so this is from the first day when the teacher asked our group what our goals were for being there. And before I was just focused on marketing ROIs and like how much money was in my bank account. I was like, joy, authenticity, what is that? But over the course of the week, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is what I was craving. And when I came out of this, I realized that, what I was really craving was connection and positivity. In the world that we're in, we're so disconnected and there's so much negativity in the news and you're always made to feel not good enough. And so I said, I want to spend my time working on more meaningful connections and positivity. And it was the answer to the question I kept asking myself as I was evaluating different opportunities, what does this world need more of? And specifically, what do I need more of, right? Because I needed more connections. I wanted more gratitude in my life. I wanted people to be nicer to each other, more patience. So I moved to LA, I started hosting these events where we do some yoga, we do some meditation, and we'd have this table where we'd ask each other for a word of intention, right? It looks like an arts and crafts table where we're making jewelry, but really, it was a conversation that was truly magical. And my friend Sarah over here on the right, she would always be at the table, and I said, Sarah, you really don't have to be here. You can go play in the rest of the house. And she's like, no, I really want to be here because this is where the best conversations happen. When you help someone, take a moment to have the awareness of what they really want, what is their gap, and then set an intention to achieve that. My first word was impact, and when I saw Jay-Z in the corner of a club in West Hollywood, I said, if I can maybe bring a little positivity to Jay-Z, then maybe he would bring some more positivity to other people. And so that was one voice in my head. The other voice was, hey, you're gonna get kicked out of this club, like, what are you doing? But I walked up and I said, hi, my name is Chris, I have a gift for you. And Jay-Z was very gracious. We ended up chatting for a bit. And then he said, hey, why don't you put this on my wrist? And I was like, really? You want me to put this washer and a string next to your very nice, fancy, probably tens of $1,000s watch? Sure. And then he said, do you want to come and make these at my Grammys brunch next week? I said, let me check my schedule, but I'm pretty sure I could squeeze you in. And so I got my friends together, ordered some t-shirts, and I said, you know what, let's go and serve, and we're going to plant some seeds. We don't know what's going to happen, but here we go. So we made hundreds of bracelets that day. Rihanna chose Faith, Beyonce chose Surrender. And after the event, it was a bit anticlimactic, actually. I thought maybe somebody would tweet about it or post about it, but nothing really. And so I was like, is this really what I want to be doing? Because another voice in my head was saying, hey, you have an MBA from Harvard, you worked at all these places, like, are you really going to be stamping bracelets the rest of your life? There's got to be a different cause that maybe you want to go work on. Maybe it's cancer, or maybe it's clean water. So I headed off to Bali and did some soul searching, did some meditating. And on the very last night, I opened up my Instagram and I was completely floored. I couldn't believe what I saw. And there was Kanye wearing the bracelet I had made him 3 months earlier on the cover of the Time 100. And so it was in that moment, I was like, wow, actually, if I was looking for a sign on what to do next, this might be pretty good. And so the My Intent process is really 3 parts. It's partly to, the first part's really to find your word, but beyond that, it's, sharing it, because that really helps you activate it, right? When you talk about it, you reinforce it with yourself, and also other people can support you and bring that intention to life. But the most powerful part of this project is when you serve, is when you ask others for their word. Because when that happens, you're building a connection, you're bringing positivity to them, and you're also learning wisdom, something that maybe you hadn't thought of, and maybe you'll be inspired by what they're sharing with you. So this group is such a heart-centered group. I was really floored when I got the responses back. I was going through it, and these are the 250 plus words that were shared, of which there's over 165 unique words in this list. Grateful and be present were the most popular with 10 each, and then balance, there were 7, 6 strengths and patience, but you can see there's just a lot of variety in what people are bringing into this room. And so with that, I'm gonna invite you to take a moment to connect with your word. So if you wanna just put your feet on the ground, just kind of sit deep in your chair, close your eyes, and we're just gonna take a moment to breathe. So we're gonna take a big inhale in, hold it, and let it out through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose. 3, 2, 1. Out through the mouth. And think about your word now. Really think about why you chose your word. A lot of you shared a story, some of you didn't, but you know that story. You know what it means to you. You know what's at stake. Take a deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. Let it out with a big smile. Our mission is not to make bracelets. Our mission is to be a catalyst for meaningful conversations and positive energy. And so I'm going to invite you in a minute to actually have a conversation. Now, before we do that, there's a really important component to this, which is in order to have a conversation, you need a great listener, right? And there's 3 parts of being a great listener. First part being you want to be inviting, so you want to be present, you want to be giving your full attention to the other person, you want to be open, non-judgmental. Second part is you want to listen, not interject with your own story, but really hear what the other person has to say. And the last piece is just be supportive, right? Tell me more. How can I help? What can we do to support you in that intention? And so that's what it means to be a great partner, a great listener, and a great conversation. And that's what I experienced at the retreat that I went to, and that's what I want to bring into this room now for the next few minutes. So I'm going to invite you to stand up, and you're going to go in front of someone that you don't know. So right now, so if you stand up and go in front of someone you don't know. And then one of you is going to raise your hand, and you're going to be partner A. So between the 2 of you, one person is going to be partner A. All right, so partner A, raise your hand for me. And if you guys will just hold the conversation just for a second, because I want to make sure we got partner A. Okay, partner A. I don't see all the hands yet, so who's partner A? Okay. If you guys just hold the conversation until we get everyone. Where's my partner A's? I need to see more hands, partner A's. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a minute, and then partner A, you're gonna share your word and why you chose it, and partner B, you're gonna be a great listener, okay? Go. All right, we've got 15 seconds for partner A. All right, let's bring that to a close. We're gonna switch. And so partner B, you're gonna share, and partner A, you're gonna be a great listener. All right, we got 15 seconds. All right, give each other a big hug. All right, and then you're gonna face me. And let's bring the music down. And everyone face me. So what we're gonna do one more thing to really activate your intention, okay? So if we can just dial the music down for a second. So I'm gonna teach you something that's, you know, we live from our heads, right? But a lot of wisdom is in our bodies. A lot of times your intuition, your body knows what to do without you even having to think about it. It's that, you know, reptilian brain that we have. So what I'm gonna teach you is this little simple move, okay? You're gonna get grounded in your truth, okay? Got it? And then you're gonna shake off anything that's not true. Shake off anything that's not your word, okay? And if you want to do a little hip shake, that's okay too. I saw somebody. All right, so, and then you're gonna put that energy into your heart. All right, so it's, got it? All right. All right, can we have a little music, please? We're gonna do it to a little music, and then you're just gonna follow me. Ready? And if you want to close your eyes and you really want to get into it, that's okay too. If you want to look around, have fun. There you go. So put that word in.
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent. And now it's time to build from the bottom of the pit right to the top. Don't look back. Packing my bags and giving the academy your rain check. I don't ever want to let you down.
You got it.
I don't ever want to leave this town. 'Cause after all,
if you know the lyrics, sing along.
The sea never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. So this is where you fell, and I am left to sell. The path to heaven runs through miles of clouded hell, right to the top. Don't look back. Turning to rags and giving the commodities a rate check. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't ever want to leave this town. 'Cause after all,
now what you're gonna do,
raise your hand. Tonight it's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger,
because to get to your intention, you're gonna have to stretch a little bit. Alright, gonna shake your hands. Ready? 1, 2, 3, drop. Woo. One more time. Alright, one more time. as I mentioned, we are not a jewelry company. As you just experienced, most jewelry companies don't do what we just did. But we are a service project. And in the same way that a watch tells you your time, and time is the most important thing we all really have, this bracelet tells you what's important to you, right? It tells you what to do with that time. And it's a technology. It's an ancient technology. You never have to recharge it. It's always on. It notifies you of how to spend your time. And so I want to challenge you to serve by asking 3 people in your life, family, friends, clients, whoever, what their word would be. And we're going to gift you 3 bracelets. And so look for an email with instructions on how to get that. Okay, so that's just a gift back to you. And I'm going to share 3 stories, 3 of my favorite stories. This one says courage. The bracelet's the only jewelry I begged them to let me take into surgery. It was made by my friend Jordan, and I was worried they'd make me cut it off. I believe life wanted me to have it for this big surgery. This is kind of an odd one that you might not expect. I was standing in line at brunch, and I see this tall, sexy redhead walked up. And I said, "Hi, Conan O'Brien. What's your word?" And he says, "Is this going to matter on my deathbed?" I said, "No, I don't think I could fit that, but I could fit deathbed." And so the E's a little more interesting because I had a couple sangrias at that point, but it still got the job done. And his wife, Liza, she said, "I have a fable. Have you heard of this fable of the Japanese farmer?" I said, "No, tell me." And this is the wisdom part, where you get to hear a lot of cool, interesting stories. And she said, there was a farmer. He had a horse. The horse ran off, so the neighbors all said, "Oh, we're so sorry." And the next day, the horse came back with 2 wild horses, and the neighbors are all rejoicing. "Congrats." The farmer says, "Perhaps." The next day, the farmer's son rides one of the wild horses out, breaks his leg, and the neighbors are all like, "Oh, we're so sorry." And he says, "Perhaps." And then the next day, the army comes to try to draft his son, but because of his leg was broken, they didn't draft him, and he ended up having his life spared. And so the neighbors all congratulated him, and he said, "Well, perhaps." And so I think the story for us, especially, I don't know if anyone else kind of has anxiety and worries about the future, is we just don't know what life holds for us. And this is a great reminder that, we just don't know. And so I challenge you, really, to think about, us as, this is not just this little arts and crafts project, but actually, to me, this is, it's personal growth, but more accessible. That was sort of the original vision. And it's something that all of us can do, and all of us can use this little technique, this little tool to help our communities. And if we make our communities better, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's the PTA, our world is going to be better. And so that's what we're up to. This is part of our mission statement. We believe there's purpose inside each of us, and we want to encourage people to share more truth and inspiration with each other. And so thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to hand it back.
And thank you for saying yes to tuning into The Yes Life. I am Yes Jess, and today I have a very, very special guest in the studio. I kind of think he's a celebrity. He's actually a celebrity in my eyes. Chris, he is the founder of My Intent, these bracelets that are creating a positive change in the world, and they're being used as like a catalyst for conversation. So thank you for saying yes to being my second guest on the Yes Life show.
Thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
So if people don't know about My Intent, tell them the story behind the brand.
Oh, I'd love to have them experience it.
Okay.
So I'd love to invite you at home to think about the one word that you want to remind yourself of to be your best.
Okay.
And we have some questions that can help you find that word.
Okay.
So the first question would be, think about a virtue that you want more of.
Okay, virtue you want more of.
Like a quality, right? If you
Right.
think about someone you admire, think about what it is that you admire about them and what's the quality, whether it's they're kind, they're patient,
Confidence.
they're confident, they're
Okay.
generous. Think about that virtue.
Okay.
A second question we like to ask is think about the biggest challenge in your life right now and what it would take to overcome that challenge.
Okay.
Maybe it's persistence, discipline, resilience.
Resilience, that's a good one.
Or
like procrastination.
The opposite of that.
Yeah.
To just go do it.
Yeah, just say yes and just do it.
Yes. And the third question we like to ask is, think about what you want to do more of. Like, what's a passion you want to spend more time on?
Okay.
Maybe it's creating, maybe it's writing, it's singing. What makes you feel alive?
Right.
So between those, there should be plenty of words that are coming to you.
Yeah.
And then, you pick, some people go with one, some people go with multiple, like our previous guest.
Yeah, Liza was wearing like 5 bracelets.
Sometimes you have a lot of intentions and a lot of words. So, yeah.
Awesome. So what is the word that you said yes to?
This morning, I said yes to the word discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. It was, I just started listening to this thing called Fearless Motivation.
Okay.
It's the soundtrack, or I discovered it through Goalcast. If you watch enough Goalcast videos, you'll see at the end it says music by Fearless Motivation. So I went on Spotify, looked it up, and I did a workout yesterday listening to all that, and they had a chapter on discipline. I really thought that was powerful.
It resonated.
Yeah.
Cool. What
And
was
so
like the one takeaway?
it was just, if you want something, you got to work for it.
Yep.
And the people that are successful that get to their dreams actually, have the discipline to make it happen. It doesn't just happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're the founder of My Intent. But going back, you worked for like Facebook and Pepsi and some really big names. So what was the moment where you decided to leave all that and say yes to starting this company?
It was end of 2011. I'd been at Facebook for about 4 years and just had this feeling that it was time to start something new, try something else, ready for a new adventure. And so I just had this feeling that it was time to start the new, next chapter. I didn't know what it was yet. It wasn't until almost 2 years later that this really came into fruition.
Really?
So it took a little while of exploration and trying different things.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to do something that was unique and something that made a difference, had an impact, and this is what came about.
Awesome. So how do you, what was the most challenging thing that you had to say yes to in your life that really made the biggest impact?
I mean, what made a huge difference for this project was me going to this week-long retreat called the Hoffman Process up in Napa.
Yeah.
And that was really intimidating. It was not something I necessarily wanted to do. Somebody had suggested it. For months, I just put it off.
Yeah.
And finally, I was in a lot of just pain, I had gone through a heartbreak, a lot of, going through rejection.
Yeah.
And I think one of the lessons I've learned is, out of pain and out of discomfort is where a lot of growth lies.
Of course.
And that's where a lot of just, amazingness could be.
Yeah.
But you have to go through that, the hard times.
Yep.
And I'm reminded of Malika Chopra has a book called Living with Intent. And she talks about how intentions are like the seed that gets put into the soil, and it's cold and it's dark and it's uncomfortable, but it's those conditions that make you want to germinate and pop out.
And grow.
And that's where intentions lie. Is a lot of times if you notice things that aren't fulfilling, that aren't working for you,
Right.
it's from those things that you come up with your next, intention. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe that life begins outside your comfort zone, and that you sometimes have to hit rock bottom, or get your heart broken, or for me, get dumped on national television, on The Bachelor, or I lost my dad, my boyfriend, and my dog in 1 month. I mean, I was down in the dumps. But it's really through those challenging times that you are forced to say yes to something new. And I think that Liza and I were talking about it before, that sometimes you think your life is going down one path and then it goes down a completely different path. And you're like, yes, this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing. And I always say, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no.
Yeah.
And as a founder of a big company that's really making a difference, I'm sure that you might feel the need to say yes to a lot, but how do you determine what to say yes to and what to say no to? Because saying no is just as powerful as saying yes.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is gut, it's intuition. It's also trial and error.
Yeah.
It's like you try stuff and it didn't work. And you're like, yeah, that probably wasn't the right thing. And you look for things where you're getting momentum and it's working. And I always say you put out a lot of seeds and you see what germinates, because you don't really know what ends up happening.
Put out a lot of seeds, or you're a lot of little intentions.
Yeah, and you kind of see, you know, what resonates. Yeah, and what resonates in one period, in one chapter, may be different than what works later.
Right.
And so that's something I'm cognizant of as well, is like you don't have to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah. So right now, what is the season that you're in? What are kind of things that you're saying yes to and saying no to?
I think I'm saying yes to me personally. I think we just went through our busy season.
Yep.
And now I want to spend some more time on myself, more reading, more discipline about my health and just my own wellness. So that's a big component of it. And then the other component is we have over 30,000 people that have bought our tools.
Wow.
To make bracelets for their loved ones.
Yeah.
And that's an area that I want to spend a lot more time on. Because in the past, when we started the project, it was all about people coming to our website and ordering a bracelet or two or 10 or 100 for their loved ones. But then we started offering the tools where they could make their own.
Yeah.
And that's a program that has some support, but we could go a lot deeper on helping them really experience the magic and use the tools in a way that's that maybe they hadn't thought of.
And shared in their own community.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
And
it's about
actually,
community building and connections.
So on Sunday, thanks to you, I hosted a workshop called Master Your Morning, Master Your Life. And one of our activities was to discover what their word is. And we actually took it one step further and said, what is your verb? Because I love just taking action.
Absolutely.
And it was the most incredible exercise. So thank you for providing the kit and the bracelets. And I actually asked you to bring one into the studio.
Yep.
And I thought that we could show everyone who's watching right now just how easy and simple it is. But I think that the best part of the whole activity is really discovering what is your word.
Absolutely.
And those 3 questions that you started off with are great. Like what is one thing that maybe is challenging you or you want more of or you want to wake up and be reminded of every single day on your wrist?
Yes.
So yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to. Yeah, bring it out. Let's see.
What,
Let's see the magic
what can we
happen.
make for you?
Well, so over the weekend, my word was ignite.
Okay.
Because I really want to help ignite the light in people. I want to always ignite that the light in myself.
Do you want some color, or do you want to go?
Ooh, maybe I'll do black. Because I'm wearing black today.
Okay.
So these are the infamous.
Do you want the black gold, black silver?
Gold black.
Okay. We have rose gold too.
Yay! Okay, so I have my ignite. I want to do another word. Maybe we should do, because it's the yes life, maybe say yes.
Okay. Do you want a necklace? We could put something on a necklace too.
Oh, sure.
If you want to, have you thought about what you want on?
Oh, okay.
On wear?
Maybe. Gosh, so many words I need to think of.
Do you want to look down on your wrist and see ignite, or do you want to see yes?
I want to see maybe on my necklace, I'll do a say yes.
Okay. And so you want to ignite on your...
on my...
Okay.
Yeah. So cool. So you've lately been saying yes to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a morning routine? Because I'm all about morning routines.
The focus right now for me is just getting enough sleep.
Oh, okay.
So actually letting myself sleep in a bit more than I probably normally would, because that's one of the best things that we can do for our bodies is just to get enough rest.
Rest.
Yeah.
So how many hours a night do you sleep?
I'm getting like 7 or 8.
That's good.
Yeah, so.
So these here are the letters, right?
Yep.
And then he's just banging them in.
I'm getting one letter at a time.
Bam. Whack
I'm doing it over the leg of the table, which is the best support.
So you don't break the table.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so cool. So you've said yes, you've done TED Talks. I mean, what was like that yes moment where you're like, okay, this movement is taking off?
There were a series of moments. So this is done.
Awesome.
Do you want it on your right?
Yeah.
or
Thank
left?
you.
Okay.
Ignite. I'm going to ignite the light in people.
I
love that. Thank you.
And you want say yes on the other one?
Say yes, yeah. Put it on my hands. Keep it close to my heart. Say yes.
How did you think of this title and this name for the?
You know, I had a father who was just the most positive person ever, and he said yes to pretty much everything. And I actually think that the fact that he said yes to so many things he didn't really slow down. He just kind of said yes to everything. He was this crazy entrepreneur. And then he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he was diagnosed too late, and he lost his life way too early. And so I have always been yes, Jess. Like, I'm a spontaneous girl. I just say yes to everything. But over the years, I've learned that saying no is just as powerful as saying yes.
Yeah.
And that you have to be able to say no to things so that you can say yes to the things that really matter.
Absolutely.
And so I want people to live that yes life, and I want to empower them that if you are about to encounter a new opportunity or a new relationship and you feel anything contracting in your body, you need to listen to your gut, because it's not meant to be. But if you feel you expanding and coming alive, then that opportunity or that relationship is meant to be. And that's what the yes life is.
Wow.
Is when you have no doubt in your gut that this is just what I'm supposed to do. Like you light up when you make this. I feel like this is your yes life. And I want people to experience the yes life and not just the life.
There you are.
Yeah. Thank you. So say yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you were saying, so what was like your yes moment where you're like, this is taking off?
Moments like this.
Aww.
Moments where I get to hear what people are excited about and
Yeah.
what lights them up, because that energy comes back. And so I've had a lot of moments like this. Do you need help?
You've had what, celebrities?
I've had celebrities, I've had friends, family, strangers, people on Instagram. I remember one of the first ones that caught my attention was someone that just got the word live, and she posted on Instagram. This is like when we had launched the website like a month later. She said, I got the word live as a reminder, for someone who has suicidal tendencies, that I've chosen to live.
Oh, I love that.
And so I remember that that was definitely one moment. There was another moment. I made this for a guy. He wanted the word 15, and I asked him what that meant. He said it's because I'll be sober in January for 15 years.
No way. Oh my God, that just gave me the goosies.
So a series of stories like that
Right.
that have just kept it going, one after the next. It's kind of neat because you never know what someone's going to share, and
I love hearing those stories that just really
about your father, about
So cool. And just like you said, it's going down those tough times or getting your heart broken that you really discover what you're meant to say yes to and what is your yes life.
Yeah.
So cool. So you said that some new things that you're saying yes to are, and what are some new things the company's saying yes to?
It's mostly focused on the makers.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about how do we, because a lot of the makers, they've gotten this originally for the holidays to do as an activity over Thanksgiving, over Christmas break. And we're wanting to provide ideas for them to do it throughout the year. There's a million ways that you could use this. You could make it for your barista. You could make this for your child's teacher. You could make this for just, it's like a random act of kindness.
Yeah.
So we're giving them inspiration to continue the magic throughout the year.
And what do you think it means to, like, when you discover your word, what does it mean to, like, truly live out that word?
What does it mean to live out your word?
Like, have you heard people, maybe someone wrote something that they want to be more like, or they want to exude more of. Have you heard stories like, a few years later?
Yeah, I get a lot of stories about how they've sort of actually fallen apart at the right time, at the perfect time. I remember this manager of a popular restaurant club in Hollywood. He had gotten the word patience at an event, and I just assumed it was because he's dealing with such chaotic, situations with the staff and guests and whatnot. And then I ran into him a few months later in the parking lot across the street from the club, and he said, my bracelet fell off today, and today was the day I found out my girlfriend is actually moving down from North Cal. So it was just this cool moment because he had actually set the intention to be patient for her.
I love that.
So stories like that are, yeah.
That is so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's just like, it's like starting your day. Like, I start my day, I'm a big morning routine girl, and I love to start my day with an affirmation, what I'm grateful for, 3 things that would make today great. But I think the waking up and looking at your word, it'll set an intention for the day.
Absolutely. It's yet another tool for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just that day, but your whole life, really.
Yeah.
You know, like now I have say yes around my neck and close to my heart. And so it'll just remind me to continue to say yes.
Absolutely.
And also, it's a great conversation starter. You know, like someone to say, so why discipline?
Yeah. And it reminds you to kind of go through the process again.
Yeah.
Yeah, to commit to it.
So if someone is wanting to, let's say, start a company kind of like you did from nothing, what are some tips that you would suggest?
I would say figure out the need in the world and what you're really trying to do versus just start a company for the sake of starting a company, but really think about
like the why.
Yeah, and what's the change that you want to see in the world? Like the change I wanted to see was more people connecting in person and more people having deeper conversations. And so this is a tool by which, that's happening, versus just starting a company for the sake of, having a company.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge one. And then just to continue to scale. One of the things that we focused on is we want to make it accessible, so we keep the price very affordable. So this is not like a $200 piece.
Right.
It's something
So
that you can get.
A bracelet.
So you can get a bracelet on our website for like $20.
And then the kit.
And then the kit's around $100. It comes with a bunch of bracelets. You could get them as low as just a few dollars each. So imagine you're making a cup of coffee for someone. It's the same. We want it to be the same. We wouldn't think twice about buying a cup of coffee for someone. So we want it to be like you wouldn't think that much about making someone a bracelet.
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up. My dad collected gratitude rocks, and
Oh.
he traveled the entire world. And he would come home with these gratitude rocks that he would collect. And he would put them in little places that I wouldn't know. So like I would be looking at my purse and I'd be like, oh, Dad put another rock down there.
Does he write?
He
stuff on it?
sometimes he would write, and sometimes he would just, and every time I would see a gratitude rock, I would be reminded of my dad, but also
wow.
what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And so I actually carried on the tradition. And so I now collect gratitude rocks, and mine are, I actually buy them on Amazon, but they're rose quartz because it symbolizes unconditional love.
Oh, wow.
And so all my friends, like I'll put them in my friends' pockets. Or
Really?
purses or
That's
leave
really
them
cool.
in cars. And they're always like, oh, Jess left another gratitude rock. But I think this is like another gratitude rock.
Yeah. It's another way to connect and put a seed out there.
Right. It's
Yeah.
another way to, when you see it, you're reminded of what you're grateful for or what you want to resonate with that day.
Yeah.
Or it's a great way to just give someone a gift.
It's positivity.
Positivity.
It makes you feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for saying yes to joining me on my brand
you
new
for
show.
having me.
I got Ignite and I have Say Yes. So where can they follow you and get bracelets themselves?
At My Intent and at Chris Pan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Do you have one last tip for people to say yes to?
Yeah, just take the time to do some reflection and think about what it is that you want to bring into each day, each moment.
Think about what is your word.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much. And I
Thank
will
you.
see all of you guys in the next video. Bye.
I'd like to give you this necklace.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
It is written the words hope and faith.
This is so nice.
I chose faith because my family and I had faith that I would get a transplant in one of the best hospitals in the world. Hope because we kept on hoping that I would get a treatment for my sickle cell disease. And as you can see, mine has the same, has been inscripted the same one. So we share the same.
That is so nice. Can I hug? Yes. Oh, that is so nice. Thank you so much. This is beautiful.
It's a simple word. It's not lofty. I put mine on my bracelet. It's my word for this year is impact. There are so many places where I want to put my energy, and if I go to all of them, I'll just be drained. I want to put my energy where I'll have the greatest impact for my family, for my career, for my life.
And we all have our words. What's your word? Mine is pause to remind myself to take a quick breath every now and again.
What is yours?
Pause.
Yeah.
Mine is
I like
pivot.
that.
don't be afraid to, sort of divert if you have to. Yeah, it happens in life all the time. I love the word.
Really true.
Should we start with a bit energy? How's the food digesting right now? Move around a little bit just to kind of help the digestion a little.
Sure.
Okay, so if you guys want to just get on your feet, find some floor space. So one of the things that I learned at the Hoffman and other trainings is that we spend a lot of our times in our head, analyzing, criticizing ourselves, trying to control things that we can't control, and not living from our hearts. Right? Not living from the wisdom that's in our bodies. And I want to show you guys this little move you can always do when you want to get back into your body. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a little stomp going. Let's try that. What that represents is you're stomping into your truth. Okay? You're getting grounded in your truth. You're saying no to things that aren't yours, and you're stepping into your power. Okay? The second thing we're going to do then is you're going to shake off everything that's clinging onto you that's not for you. Okay? So you're going to slap both thighs. Okay? So it's 1, 2, okay? And then last but not least, we're going to put that pure energy into our hearts. So it's going to go. Alright, let's try that for a second. You guys kind of got the hang of it. It's pretty amazing up there in the balcony. Alright. It's always a little bit more fun to do it with a little music, right? Yeah. Alright, here we go. This will be interesting. Oh, the sun's back out. Just sort of follow me.
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent. And now it's time to build from the bottom of the pit right to the top. Don't look back. Packing my bags and giving me a count of your check. I don't ever wanna let you down. I don't ever wanna leave this town. 'Cause after all, the city never sleeps tonight. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, you understand? I'm never changing who I am.
Alright, give yourself a big hand.
And now you're left to yourself. The path to
Alright. I'm going to ask you now to just start walking around the room a little bit and give each other a smile, a high five, a hug. Just start moving the energy around this room, alright?
Lauren! What's up, Paul? Lauren. Oh, yeah, Morris.
Alright, so go and stand in front of someone right now. Stand in front of someone that's going to be your partner for the next exercise. Find yourself a little bit of space, so if you're next to other pairs, move away. And you're going to find some space. Okay? Introduce yourself, say hi.
Wait, I know it.
Now, one person is going to raise their hand out of the pair, and they're going to be partner A. Okay? Now, partner A, you're going to move, and partner B is going to be your mirror. And your goal is not to throw them off, your goal is to move as a team. So it's teamwork, but partner A is currently leading, okay? So here we go. Partner A, you're going to lead, partner B, you're going to mirror.
I will A, okay. You will B. Okay. I need that. What I can do all whatever. Yes? Yeah, maybe.
I could stay awake for days if that's what you want.
Can we change? Yeah.
I can dance, play hard, that's what you want. Give you all I have.
All right, now we're gonna switch. So partner B, you're gonna lead, and partner A, you're gonna mirror. We're gonna switch.
But I'm only human, and I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human, and I crash and I break down.
I'm trying. I'm not much better. I am a dancer.
'Cause I'm only human.
Yeah, you are. Sorry.
All right, now we're gonna get really interesting. There's gonna be no explicit leader and no explicit mirror, but you're gonna just move together as a team. All right?
Words, if that's what you need. I can do it. I can do it. I'll get through it. But I'm only human. And I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human. And I crash and I break down. Lies in my head, lies in my heart. You will be Are we like following each other's now?
We're staying up. This will make
Give each other a high five, a hug, whatever makes you happy. Alright, and I'm going to gently invite you to walk back to your chair or your seating spot.
Sorry, I took your spot. Here.
What was your experience of that pairing, mirroring exercise? I'm curious. Anybody?
I love frequency exchange.
Okay, say more. The song is Christina Perry Human, but you can use any music. That should be my go-to. So I'd like to invite you now to take a moment. We're going to go on a bit of an inner journey to find a word that's going to help you be your best in the coming weeks and months. So if you want to get comfortable, just kind of put your feet on the ground. I invite you to gently close your eyes. And I'm going to take you through a few questions to find a word that's going to help you be your best. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Let it out. Take another deep breath in. Hold. Let out. Last one. Deep breath in through the nose. So I want you to think about somebody you really admire, somebody that you really appreciate. What is it that you appreciate about this person? Just breathe that in. Think about, for yourself, is there a virtue or quality that you want to bring into your life? Is it to be more patient, more determined? Is it to be more kind, more present? What's a quality or virtue you want more of in your life? Deep breath in. Let it out. Now think about the biggest challenge in your life right now. And for a moment, appreciate the challenge that's there. Just appreciate it. I've learned in my life that challenges can be a real blessing. They help us find our truth, our strength, our purpose. You know, we don't really know how strong and powerful we are until we face some challenges. So what would it take to overcome that challenge? Is it more resilience? Focus, to let go, to forgive. What do you need to overcome that challenge in your life? Breath in, hold it, and sigh out. Just release all that tension. Yeah, just let it go. And the third and final question I'm going to ask you is, what lights you up? What are you excited about? What do you live for? What do you want to spend more time on? Is it to sing more? To dance? To go swim in the ocean? To ride a bike? Have some healthy food? You know, what really gets you excited that in the busyness that we have, we forget to do? Tomorrow was your last day, how would you go spend it? And smile right now. Just bring that happy joy into your life. Picture yourself doing whatever it is that you're excited about. One last deep breath in. Let it out with a big smile. There you go. And when you're ready, with your eyes still closed, just gently stand up. Just place whatever's in your lap. If there's something in your lap down, stand up. And just raise your arms up. Keep your eyes closed. And raise your arms up really tall, like you want something, like a victorious stretch. There you go. There you go. Just breathe. Just breathe all that in. And so you might have a few words in your mind right now. There's probably a few reminders that you'd like to have. But think about the one word that's kind of a little out of your reach. You know, there's probably a few of those words, they're already things that you do, and they're things that you already embody. But just hold your stretch, there you go. Hold your stretch. Just imagine what's the one word that's just a little bit out of your reach, that if you saw on your wrist every day, you would achieve it. You would be that, you would do that, you would have it. That's your word. Right? Take one final huge breath in. Bring your hands to your heart. Side out. And gently open your eyes and welcome back. How was that? So now I'm going to invite you to go and stand in front of your partner, the one that you did the mirroring exercise with. And so this time we're going to have partner B go first. Now this is important. Partner A, your job is to be the best partner ever. And what that means is you're going to hold space for partner B to take their word and go even deeper. Okay? First of all, there's no judgment, right? Whatever their word is, you're okay with it. You're not here to judge. It's, you know, you might not think it should be that or whatnot. So there's no judgment. There's no interjecting. So you're going to let that person speak, and the only thing you're going to say, thank you. And you're going to say, would you share more? You know, let's go deeper. Like, why is that your word? Or tell me more. Because a lot of times, people will have what they think is their word, and they'll actually go deeper, and they might find it something else. Or what you're going to do is you're going to really bring it to life and help them really understand what they want to bring into their daily lives. And thirdly, you're not giving advice. Right? How often is it that we tend to give advice, we interject, and we'll say something like, oh, you know, my friend's word was also this. Or you'll say, hey, actually, we should go read this book. For the next minute, all you're going to do is you're going to hold space for partner B. Okay, so partner A is going to hold space. Partner A, you're going to share your word, and you're just going to bring it to life, and you're going to explore, kind of like, you know, when you do partner stretching, you can go deeper with someone. That's what we're going to do right here. Okay, so we're going to give you a minute to do that.
All the things consider it feeling do the thing. When you've got a new idea, go for it. See what happens. Throw it all into concoction.
I feel strong just as my ability to do things in my afterlife. But I think it can really in my very life without other people there, I feel weak in that I'm not.
Just go for little things to big things and just own.
Welcome back. I'm Mel Robbins, and today we had extraordinary stories of survival, and I want to thank you both for being here and sharing your story. And since I can't go with you, and neither can Dr. Judith, I wanted to give you something. So I wear one of these every day. It's a My Intent bracelet where you get to pick a word, and I picked a word for you. I picked the word survivor.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to give that to you so that you left here and you were reminded of your strength. And whenever you have a moment of weakness, you look in that mirror and you do exactly what Dr. Judith told you to, and you remind yourself that you are not to blame, but in fact, look at that, I'm a survivor, okay? And I have one for Dr. Judith. I know you're a purpose-driven woman out to make an impact, so I picked purpose for you. I know that I'm going to get flooded with requests from people at home who now are like, where do I get that? Where do I get that? Just go to myintent.org and I got you covered. They're inexpensive. I mean, I'm talking less than $30. And if you use the promo code MELSHOW, you can get 20% off.
Hi, my name is Chris, and welcome to the My Intent Project. I'm so excited that you decided to become a maker and bring meaningful connections and positive actions to your community and our world. I started the My Intent Project as a way to connect with other people and to help others connect with their best self. And we rarely get the invitation from someone to go deep, to be vulnerable, and to share how we want to show up to be our best. The heart of the My Intent process is in helping someone find their word. So in your maker kit, we have a guide for you, and there's a section on how to be a catalyst, how to help someone find their word. 3 simple steps. Number 1, be inviting. So what that means is be present, be curious, and non-judgmental. Number 2, holding space. So you want to acknowledge, you want to listen from the heart, and you want to avoid interjecting and giving advice. It's so easy for us to have a casual conversation that looks like they say, my word is X, and you say, oh, my friend also got the word X. And now you've derailed and hijacked that conversation. You also want to avoid giving advice because at this point, you want them to really find out for themselves what is true for them. What you're doing is you're holding up a mirror for them to look and find their own answers. Because when they find their own answers, they own the answers and they're committed to whatever that is. So number 3, go deep. You want to explore with follow-up questions like, what does that look like for you? Because when you do that, it helps them clarify what success looks like, and it helps them be more committed to what they're bringing into their lives. So we have 3 questions for you to help someone find their word. What's a virtue you want more of in your life? Second one, what's a challenge you want to overcome? And lastly, what are you most passionate about and want to spend more time on? These 3 questions are a great starting point to help someone find their word, and they're always available at our website at myintent.org on the homepage. We also have a deck of question cards to help you go deeper. These cards were curated after going through hundreds of questions, starting with what do you want to let go of, all the way to how do you want to serve and make a difference in our world. You can use these as journal prompts for self-reflection. You can use these on a coffee date with a friend, or you can use these in a group. So once you've helped someone find their word, it's time to make them a bracelet. And this bracelet is a powerful reminder to help them stay on track. You know, it's interesting, the word distraction just means distraction, no longer having traction towards your goal. And this is not a piece of jewelry. This is a powerful tool to help someone have traction to their intention and their goal. The mindset you should have as you stamp is that you're making a powerful reminder for someone. This is not about perfection, it's about the intention. Your goal here is not to make it look like a machine made it. Your goal is to create something that someone's gonna wear and remind them to help them stay on track. So take a deep breath, and just to get comfortable with the hammer, it might be helpful to grab a pillow and just start getting comfortable with the hammer. Because I've seen a lot of people try to stamp and they're so timid. Just practice that. Once you have the right mindset, the key is to find a hard surface to stamp against. Concrete, a brick, or a cutting board over something solid. So if you're using a table, make sure you're stamping over the leg of the table, not the middle of the table. You don't want to stamp on carpet. If you stamp on carpet, there's nothing to push back against and you won't get very deep with your letters. So grab a bracelet, pull the string back, and then put it on the round base with the string resting over the lower ledge. You'll see on the sticker it says string, so that's where you put the string side. And then you'll see a black arrow that says stamp. So you want that black arrow to be at the 6 o'clock position if this was a clock. Then you're gonna grab the letter. You wanna make sure the letter is facing you to make sure that it's not upside down. Grab a letter of the word that you wanna stamp. For example, if I wanna do the word focus, I'm gonna grab the letter F and I'm gonna put it in the center of the round base, and then I'm gonna hit it. Then I'm gonna rotate just a hair where I just stamped, grab the second letter, put it back in the center at the 6 o'clock, stamp again, put it back in alphabetical order, grab the third letter, C, and then the fourth, U, S. And we're done. And there's the token. Now keep in mind, if it's not deep enough, you can always hit it again. If you want it to go deeper, I can take the letter F here. I can feel for the groove, and I can hit it again. But keep in mind, there's no right or wrong to how deep your letters should be. If you hit it again, and if it creates a little bit of a shadow, kind of a double stamp, that's kind of a cool special effect. For stability, you can have your palm on the hand that's holding the letter stamp rested on the surface, because that will give you stability here as you stamp. So again, see how my palm is resting up against my surface. Also, for alignment, you can push the letter stamp up against the center of the round base, and that gives you alignment on the height. So it's perfectly centered if you push the letter stamp up against the center of the round base. So one final tip, if you're stamping and they're talking to you, invite them to focus their attention on the token as you're stamping it for them. That way you can focus and they can take a moment to reflect on what it is that they want to achieve. So this is the bracelet that I made for Jay-Z. If you look at it, there's some shadows, it's not fully center aligned, but he was moved. He asked me to tie this on him. I just gave it to him, but he asked me to tie it on his wrist next to his very nice fancy watch. And then he said, wow, could you do this for my friends? He was so touched that he invited me and team members to go make these for his guests at the pre-Grammys brunch. So here's a man who has everything, but what really made an impact was the acknowledgement, was the connection. And so again, I want to reiterate, it's not about making it look like a machine made it. If it looked like a machine had made it, I don't think it would have had the same reaction. So this bracelet landed on the cover of the Time 100. The most influential person that year, as Time declared, was wearing this bracelet, and if you look at it, the A is not even complete. But it doesn't matter, because this is his word, his intention, and he chose to show it off to the world. Here's another one that I love. This is from a brunch I was at. It was for Conan O'Brien, and I had a couple sangrias at this point. So you see the E is backwards, but that's what made it so special. And I gave it to him and he loved it. It's memorable, it's fun, it's different. This is not about making it look perfect. This is about the experience of connecting with someone and giving them something that's truly unique and something that comes from your heart. One final story. A gentleman stamped the word capable for his daughter who has a disability, and he wants to remind himself that she is capable. And he stamped the letter A upside down. And initially he was about to throw it out. And then he took a moment and he said, actually, this is exactly the reminder I needed. To remind myself that things don't have to look perfect to be lovable and to have an impact. So if it doesn't come out exactly how you like it, there's a story in that. Whatever happens is meant to happen. In the end, it's about connection. It's about helping someone stay on track and achieving their goal. So thank you for choosing to be a part of the My Intent Project. I'm also really excited that you're going to learn so much through this process. For me, it's like I've had the privilege of thousands of people sharing their deepest wisdom, their deepest truth with me, and it's made me who I am. It's been the most amazing teacher for me, just by going up and asking someone, what's your word? What really matters? How can I support? And I know this will have a huge impact on your life and your community. So thank you.
As we've shared in the past, this lab is a place where we serve as the guide, the coach, the cheerleader, the Sherpa, and the servant. And all of us are here to do some work, do some inner work. It's very hands-on. We're going to try some new things, have some fun, and most importantly, we're going to transform, which is we're going to be a different person when we end this journey than where we are right now. And we know that just by reading a book is not going to help us if we need to actually swim. We got to get in the pool, so get ourselves in it. This is my favorite slide updated. We get to have a software upgrade for ourselves today. So think of this as an update for your emotional and spiritual self that we're doing this morning. In the same way that mobile devices have constant software updates, we get to do that every Saturday morning here. Just, especially we're in this quarantine state, it's just to have a little play. So we're gonna try a little something. Listen to your heart. Everybody hold still, big smiles.
Takes a brave soul to admit you don't know. Takes a brave heart to be okay.
And so if the audio isn't exactly where you like it, feel free to adjust the audio. You might need to turn the volume down on your computer a little bit or up, and if you're having a hard time, feel free to drop it in the chat and someone on our team will be in touch with you to try to get that to your liking. And we always welcome feedback, and we want to make sure you have the best experience possible. So I'd love to invite Floor to take us through some breathing just to get us grounded for the journey. And breathing is such a powerful experience to connect us to our spirit. Good morning, Floor.
Good morning. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Floor.
You're welcome, Chris.
And Floor teaches tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.
Yeah, breath work.
Oh, beautiful. So beautiful. So just to set the context for why we picked resilience and resourcefulness for this week, we saw the news that we've hit an all-time high with the number of people who are currently jobless, and I want to invite us, even if we are in jobs right now, even if we are doing fine, to go into the next section with the learn, do, teach model, which is there's someone in our life that could use these lessons, even if right now we're doing fine. But I really want you to go into it with a teacher mindset, which is you're here to learn so you can teach someone in your life these powerful lessons. So Nita is a dear friend. She was a former dentist and found her real passion, which is in coaching and helping people with emotional wellness. She's the co-founder of the Global Grid Institute. She serves many, many, many amazing entrepreneurs. Many of them are in the health and wellness space. She has 2 books out. The book of coaching, and then she has this book, Emotional Grit, which is actually free for a download at myintent.org/free. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Nita to share with us about resourcefulness and resilience.
Thumbs up if you guys can still hear me. What does resilience actually mean?
Everyone take a deep breath. In my journey a couple of weeks ago, I kept hearing in my head, good job, you're doing a good job, because I was hustling so much and I just felt like, wow, like the world just needs so much help right now, and I was overwhelmed, and it just kept going through my head. And so I want to invite you just to take a minute, just close your eyes, connect with your breath, and just, I know there are so many people in this room right now that are light workers, that are doing everything they can to support others, and you're feeling overwhelmed. You know, you're doing a good job. Well done. Just take this moment, put your hands on your heart.
You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. 6 in the morning, as soon as you walk through that door, everyone needs you again. The world's out of order. It's not a sound when you're not around. All day on your feet, harder. Keep that energy. I know when it feels like the end of the road, you don't let go. You just press forward. You're the engine that makes all things go. Always in disguise, my hero. I see a light in the dark. Smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that. Honest and selfless. I don't know if
Take a deep breath in. With your eyes closed, I want you to think about the people who are helping you, whether it's delivery workers, whether it's a friend that called you this week, you know, when you needed a moment of support, and just send them gratitude and appreciation, because they did a good job too. All of us need each other. None of us are islands. We all need support. So send that gratitude and appreciation to those who supported you this week.
Teachers that reach us, strangers to friends that show up in the end. From the bottom to the top, the listeners that hear us. This is for you. You make me fearless. Good job. Doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter.
Take a deep breath in. If there's tears coming out, that's totally great. Just release those emotions. You know, there are emotions of sadness, then there's emotions of joy. So just let it out. Let it out. Doing a good job, everybody. So next, I'd like to bring to the stage a superhero who has been recognized all over the world, including being on Oprah's Super Soul 100 list. He recently came out with a book called Inquire Within, which I cannot imagine a more perfect title for the work that we're doing here, to invite us to inquire within.
I keep my heart open, but I rarely give it away.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Q.
When they keep seeing a New York City USA, it's a very Buddhist thing.
What Q said. Let's take a minute take a minute. If you want to grab your pen and paper, that's fine. If you want to go to the chat, that's fine. If you just want to close your eyes and just tune in, but let's just take a minute collectively and just process. I mean, there was so much wisdom that was just shared with us. And let's make sure we just take that minute to process that, and then and I hope you take some time this weekend to really process that, and we'll have this video available shortly at myintent.org/workshop. Just let's take a minute and process everything that was just shared. On Sunday, so after the warrior training, I took Saturday to relax, and then Sunday I drove down, and then on Monday I set up my yoga mat to just make a little video, just do a little yoga, and all of a sudden I hear behind me, "Hey, are you a yoga teacher?" In a bit of a, what I thought was a French accent, but it turns out she was from Kuwait. I looked over and I chuckled because for those of you that know me, I am definitely not a yoga teacher. I've taken some yoga classes, but I'm far from being a yoga teacher. But I just chuckled and I just said, "Hey, I need to let my voice rest, but you're welcome to follow along." That's all I said. And so she set up a mat a little bit off where this photo was taken, or this video was taken, and we did yoga and movement. And I'm certainly not an expert or qualified to teach yoga, but we had a moment, and then she thanked me. She said, "You're the first person I've seen in person in 6 weeks since I've been quarantined, because the airport in Kuwait is shut down and I can't get home, but it's so nice to just have this moment." And we were at least 10 feet apart outside, so it was definitely safe. And when I checked out, I had this lovely package at the front desk waiting for me, and it was from my first yoga student. And she goes, "Hey Chris, thanks so much for being so kind in the lovely yoga class. I got one of these to all my friends. Now you're my new friend. You get one too. Your French-looking Kuwaiti friend, Noor." And she gifted me a calendar from Oprah's Vision 2020 Vision Tour. So every day I get a quote from her. And it just reminds me that in this time, we don't need to be experts. We don't need to have, the credentials to be helpful to someone. If you're going to do surgery, yes, definitely get your credentials. But to lend a helping hand, to share a smile, to do something kind, we're all very qualified. And so if there's something that you feel called to do and you're like, "Well, I'm not the expert," but now is the time to step in and teach your first class. One thing that's really important to remember is, a lot of us in this room, we're givers, we're people that want to help, and to make sure that we're putting our own oxygen mask on so that we can give fully and we don't burn out. And I think this song has a very powerful reminder that all of us need something. Like, I can't be the person I am serving this community without a handful of people behind me, supporting me, helping me with energy work, body work, etc. And so just a reminder that please don't be afraid to ask. All of us need something, even if we're the strong one in the family, right? We all have needs. And so we need to remember to receive. And so I want you to take a moment and just tune in. What do you need this week? What do you need in this moment? And share it in the chat. Share it on your paper. Send a text to someone that you think can help you with your needs. It doesn't have to be financial. It could be energetic. It could just be, I need someone to just have a conversation with, and I need to, have someone help me with, whatever it is that you need help with. So just take a moment. What do you need so that you can be the superhero and be of service? want to invite you to this group. If you can do it on your phone or do it on your computer, just open a new window, just type in bit.ly/myintentgroup, or just go on Facebook and type in Intentional Living with My Intent, and it'll come right up. This is designed to be a place of support, a place where we can lean on each other. None of us are able to do this on our own. And so please join this group. Please, receive gracefully. I know a lot of us don't feel comfortable asking for things, but I know this is what we get to learn in this time, is we get to ask how to receive gracefully, and we get to learn how to give freely. Some of us already do that beautifully, and others, we struggle a little bit with that. And this is a time to practice. This is a safe space to do that. We had 23 people last week email us saying they want to do the challenge. We originally offered 5 scholarships. So we're going to work with that group to get them what they need. We're going to do a Zoom call this week and figure it all out so that all 23 people are supported. And for those of you who are doing well right now, who I think a third of this group, have an income and can support people financially, and also everyone else, support people energetically, or just with a conversation. Please join this group, and we're going to create a Lean On Me board, and we're going to hold each other through this journey. And now take a moment. Think about, what is your gift to the world this week? What is your gift? Is it a virtual hug? Is it forgiveness? Is it sending money to someone who really needs it? Is it cooking something for a neighbor and leaving it on their doorstep? Yeah, is it calling someone and smiling? What is your gift to the world this week? Leave it in the chat, please. So I just want to share a story that happened last week. I was driving by a gas station, and I saw my favorite florist. This is like early afternoon with a lot of flowers, and I said, wow, there's a lot of flowers. I bet there's not very many people on the road, and she's probably not selling very many flowers. So my original intention was just to take some flowers off her hand. I paid her full price, didn't even ask for a group discount, didn't bargain, and just said, hey, I'll take all the roses you got. And put them in the car. Didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just knew I needed to do something for her. That was the initial starting point. And then I thought, oh, there's a hospital where 2 of my friends are nurses just up the street. So I texted them and say, hey, you guys around? And one of them was working and one of them lives 5 minutes away. So I said, can I come over and drop them off? And so I ended up taking a car full of flowers, and I had some other stuff with me, some My Intent bracelets, necklaces, and question cards. and ended up just dropping them off at Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills. And this is what happened. Not planned. You know, I didn't have a plan that on Sunday I was gonna buy flowers for people, but this ended up being my Sunday service. And so, you know, when we give, sometimes it just happens spontaneously, right? And so as you give, inspire us. Next week, I want to feature our community in action. So take photos, take Insta stories, tag us at My Intent, hashtag My Intent, and then email us, give at My Intent, and inspire us on how you're giving. Yes, there's 20-some million people who don't have a job, but there's still 100 million people that have jobs and, you know, have an income. Well, it's time for everyone who can to do whatever it is that we can. You know, nobody gets to be on the sideline right now. Nobody gets to be on the sideline. You know, whatever it is that you can give, give. The government, they're doing what they can, but the money is getting stuck, you know, with, unfortunately, some businesses that don't need it. But the mom and pop shops that really need it, they're not getting the money. I have friends who are in that scenario. So it's up to us to be the heroes, to step in, and to be the change we want to see. And it's such a privilege. It's such a privilege, and it's so much joy when we give. It's so much joy and just grace, and it's so humbling to have the ability to give whatever it is that we can give. You know, the word inspire comes from in spirit. So the more inner work we do, the more things flow through us, the more we can be a light in this world, the more that we can make a difference. So continue doing the work. I'm so proud of everyone that's, you know, coming into class every day at 8 a.m. and every night at 6 p.m. And we're going to be launching a lot of new classes in early May. So now I want you to take a moment, think about what your biggest takeaway from today was. Whatever is top of mind, drop it in the box. We're going to take a minute and just, you know, let's really process all this. It's beautiful. Yeah, just take a minute, and then we're going to go into breakouts for 10 minutes, and then you're going to get a chance to share with a small group. And last week, so much magic happened, so I hope you definitely go into the breakout. It'll only be for 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and wrap up. But declare, what is your biggest takeaway? What is your gift? What's the difference you want to make this week? So in the breakouts, what I'd like for you to do is go in alphabetical order. Let's start with the A's, first name, or whatever is showing on your Zoom profile. So when you get into the room, it'll be about 8 to 12 of you. Just go in order. Everyone gets, let's say, a minute. And just declare whatever is coming up for you. Whatever your takeaway is, whatever it is that you want to give to the world this week, it's so powerful to declare that out loud and to have people be a witness for you. And then if you're a witness, make sure you're just witnessing. You're not giving advice. You're not coaching them. You're just there to witness. Give them your full attention. Love them with your eyes. See their soul. Just love on them. Hold space for them. And lift them up with your gaze, with your smile. Yeah? Everyone who's ready, hands up. You guys ready for this? Ready to hold each other in the breakouts? Okay. So, Megan, I think we need about 15 breakouts. Let's do about 15 breakouts, and then we're going to have you back in 10 minutes and close out. So we're going to do breakouts now. And I talked about at the beginning about my pain. You know, I grew up very lonely. I came to the U.S. when I was 7 and didn't speak English. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, didn't fit in. And I think it's that loneliness and desire to connect, you know, that has fueled this project, because to me, this is not about making jewelry. This is about connection.
Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a thrill to have you here. So why don't we talk a little bit about, you know, you've done so much and kind of defied, I think, what a lot of people think is possible. How did you create some of the things you've done in your life? Bring us back a little bit.
I think a lot of serendipity, going with intuition, and a bit of pain.
Okay, and so how do you now take that and translate that into impacting other people?
I think at this present moment, I'm in a kind of a holding pattern.
Okay.
It's been 5 years of relentless service.
Okay.
And, you know, I've helped millions of people find their word and hopefully live with more intention.
Yes.
And I'm at a point now where I want to just take a moment and ground and just find my center and, you know, figure out the next steps. And I think that's important as entrepreneurs and as leaders is, you know, oftentimes I find I don't take time for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
And I think I burn myself out, and so this is a moment to just take a break.
So tell us a little bit about, you know, you've worked with some very big names, some big companies and things like that. What has been the value you have brought to them that's made your work so powerful?
You know, if we go back to Facebook, I think the value of data and the value of, you know, I was trained as a consultant, and at McKinsey, they always say the data doesn't lie. And a lot of us have intuition, we have hunches, but really the truth is in the data. And so back when I first joined Facebook, I joined to work on the ad product. But after I was there for a couple months, the user growth had slowed down. And I took it upon myself to learn SQL and learn how to pull data, and realized that the users who were not coming back to the site, they didn't have any friends. But it took over 200 pieces of analysis to actually figure out that one insight.
Wow.
And that insight then unlocked a lot of growth for the company, because we were stuck at about probably 60 million users. And then from there, it just kept going, and, you know, now it's at billions of users. But that was a big insight that, you know, users without friends didn't have a very good user experience on the site and would leave and not come back.
Wow, they were stuck at 60 million users for a while?
For a little bit, until we figured that little piece of insight out. But the curve was flattening. So what happened was, in the early days, it was all college students. And college students would join, they would find their college network, they would very quickly find people they knew, and the site became very useful right away. As folks who were out of college started joining, the site didn't make it very easy to find your friends. And back then, there weren't that many people who were out of college on the site anyway. And so those people, they maybe find 1 or 2, maybe 5 friends, but, you know, the other friends maybe weren't active, and then people would just drop off. And so I think the key is, you know, what is that magical moment for a product or service to light up and actually deliver its value? You know, for Facebook, obviously, and other social networks, it's to find people of interest for you.
Right. Now, you've worked with and impacted Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, the Trumps, Elon Musk. Tell us a little bit about that. Those are some big names.
It's just being of service. It's realizing that all of us are human, and all of us could use a reminder So what you're referencing is the My Intent Project. So I've been going
Mhm.
around and asking people for a word of intention that they want to remind themselves to be their best. And so with each of the names you've mentioned, I would just go up and I would meet them at events and say, hey, my name is Chris, I have a gift for you. And they would always be like, oh, what's that? And I would say, well, what's your word? What is one word that you want to remind you to be your best? And then I would go with my maker kit and make them a bracelet. It's a hammer with a set of letter stamps.
Right.
I hammer in the word that they chose onto a bracelet and give it to them. And, Kanye decided to wear his on the cover of the Time 100. That was a big moment for the project.
Mhm.
And so, I've personally made thousands, if not probably tens of thousands of bracelets for people. And the project has helped, several million people have that meaningful token to remind them. I think of it as an anchor during times of turbulence and
Yes.
to guide us on our path.
And you would make it right there on the spot?
Yeah, I'd make it on the spot. I was making them at the Date with Destiny event, on the main
Right.
sometimes. It's something that, to me, the whole idea was to bring coaching to the everyday.
Yes.
Because to me, this was my experience at a retreat center back in January of 13 at the Hoffman process, where I experienced a magical connection with myself, with my own intention. And I wanted to bring that to people who didn't have $5,000 and a week of time.
Right.
To me, it was like a micro retreat where if I could have a conversation with someone to help them find their word, that's the equivalent to me of helping someone find their friends on Facebook.
Yes.
Right? It's finding their I am statement. It's finding their I am blank, and then they get to have that. We make the intangible tangible.
Hmm. Now, how do you get to be in the community of these big names and just walk up to them and say, I have a gift for you?
I think that's the magic of being in Los Angeles and just being, just being at the right place at the right time.
What was Elon Musk's word? Do you remember?
Love.
Love.
He thought about it for a second. He gave it some real thought. He's like, in the end, it's about love.
Wow.
And it was a good little moment. I approached him, asked him. I've met him a couple times at different events, but this one in particular, yeah. He was very particular about the color of the bracelet he wanted. He wanted the black with a silver token, and yeah.
I would not have guessed that word from him had you let me guess, but that's kind of nice to hear, actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What about Justin Bieber?
He had the word purpose.
That was the name of one of his albums, I think, or something.
Exactly, yeah. So Scooter Braun has been wearing these, our bracelets for a long time, and I have a great story I'll share with you in a second about Scooter that I don't think I've shared anywhere publicly. But with Bieber, I dropped off some bracelets for Scooter. So Scooter asked me to make him bracelets, and he's asked me to go to his house a few times. And then because the Purpose album had just come out, I just made him a couple Purpose bracelets and left it and said, hey, here you go. If you like these, we can make more for you. I guess he had them in his office when Justin came by. He saw them. He really gravitated to them, grabbed a handful of them, and then he gave them to him. He wore one himself and he gave them to his friends. And then it ended up in one of his music videos for the song Sorry, as the acoustic version.
Yes.
Watch that music video on YouTube. You'll see him and his friends all wearing them.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
When did you start doing that?
2013. I started making these for friends and family. It was just a gift. I started hosting these gatherings on usually a Saturday or Sunday at my house. People would come over, we'd do some meditation, yoga, maybe some singing, some painting, and then we'd have a table, usually in the living room right when people came in. So you'd come into this gathering that I had, and there'd be this banging. So you'd look over, you'd be like, what's going on over there? And then you'd get drawn in, and then someone would ask you, oh, what's your word? And that would begin this journey of finding your I am statement or finding your intention.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the anchor for these gatherings that sent a very strong message that this was about a meaningful experience. It wasn't your typical Hollywood Hills, just have a lot of alcohol and party away. But usually, no alcohol at these gatherings they would have. It was like a conscious, mindful gathering.
Yeah, beautiful, more spiritual. I love it.
Yeah.
And how many do you reckon you've given out or sold or whatever?
Probably between 2 and 3 million.
Wow.
Somewhere in that range. Yeah.
I love how organic that is. Like it was something from your heart that gate was given life, right?
Yeah. Just a gift I wanted to share with the world. And I talked about at the beginning about my pain. You know, I grew up very lonely. I came to the U.S. when I was 7 and didn't speak English. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, didn't fit in. And I think it's that loneliness and desire to connect, you know, that has fueled this project, because to me, this is not about making jewelry. This is about connection.
Right.
It's about connection with the self and connection with other people. And that's what's, you know, I actually don't enjoy the business side of this project at all.
Right.
I consider myself more the chief bracelet giver. Like I like going around and just having connections with people and making them and hearing their stories.
Yeah, and what I like about it is the fact that I think most people, myself included, often think, okay, what's a business idea that I can make money on that I can either love or at least tolerate, right?
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that yours came from pure essence of giving and wanting to connect. And I, you know, I get to interview tons of people. And I'm seeing a pattern now after doing this for a while that most people that create change or are givers either were bullied growing up or had this sense of not belonging or loneliness, and then the desire to overcome that in some way, create a movement, solve a problem, a product, a service, or what have you. And it just personifies what you said, is we all want to connect.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just tough sometimes because we have that little voice, I'm not enough, they're smarter than me, they're better looking, they're taller, they're richer, whatever, right?
And I think that's the work we get to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you break down those walls with that.
Well, I think of each bracelet, you know, I've had probably 30, 40 of them at this point. And I remember, you know, the book, A Course in Miracles?
Yes.
And I've only read the first page.
Okay.
For the first paragraph, it said, this is a required course. The only option, or you can elect when you want to take it. And I feel like each word that someone would choose is like a lesson.
Yeah.
It's a lesson in compassion and empathy and self-love. And it's just a matter of, you know, when we want to take these lessons. And so that's the choice part. But as human beings on this planet, that's what we get to do.
Yeah, so what you're saying is kind of like maybe for this week or day or month, I might focus on gratitude and make that the lesson for that period of time. And then kind of wore that, feels good. Now I might want to go into passion or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So what's your word for month of August? We talked about this a bit before we came live.
Yeah, it's the word practice. And just you know, really, I think I've gotten away from my own, you know, meditation, my journaling, my own practice. You know, I think when COVID happened, I was so just fixated on trying to be helpful. You know, I launched an online school. I was doing all these lives, you know, and I want to reestablish my own practice. And then I think there's a little bit of regret I've had of some of the decisions I've made. And it's also a reminder that, you know, life is a practice. Like, we don't have to get it right, but it's okay to make mistakes and fail. And, you know, just like a practice, like you just get better.
Are you open to sharing some of those regrets?
Yeah. I think some of them were just around, I think there's a mix between wanting to help and a bit of ego and a bit of feeling enough and wanting to improve myself. So I think, you know, I started doing these lives, and we ended up going to 2 hours of daily lives a day to 4 hours and eventually 11 hours a day.
What?
Running like an ESPN for inner work on My Intent Live, myintent.org/live. And we did that for 7 weeks. I took a lot of my personal money and just put it into a foundation to fund this. And by the end of it, I was like, why did I go so big? And I think there was a part of me that wants to
prove something, that I can be something. And I was like, I could have just kept it at 2-4 hours and just kept it as a simmer. But I think there was a bit of me that wanted to, be great. And it was a lot. So I'm looking back like, wow, why didn't I just moderation instead of really going for it and I kind of burn myself out. And I think part of what happened was, if I look back, there was Zoom fatigue. I think when I made the decision to do it, it was kind of April, May, when Zoom was the thing, and we were doing all this on Zoom, and I was thinking, oh, this summer, there's so many people that are unemployed. We're going to run summer camp, and we're going to help get people through. And we did help a lot of people, and they have written in some beautiful testimonials about how this was a lifeline for them. Because I remember when I was unemployed in 2007, I had no structure in my day, and I was really lonely. So I wanted to be there for other people. So that came from a good place, but I think I didn't have to make it so extreme in terms of what we were offering all at once. So that's just a lesson that it's moderation, and in the future, just I think I have a go big kind of personality that I'm learning to temper a bit as I mature and hopefully get a bit more wisdom.
So one of the things that makes me think of is that, at one point in time, we want to achieve a goal, open up a business, hit $1 million, get in a relationship, buy a car, what have you. And then we create a new identity. Example, I have a nice car, a nice house, a nice relationship, and a successful business. Then there's a part of us that goes, okay, now that's how the world sees me. I'm going to do this next thing. It's got to be at that level or greater. Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Absolutely. This need to achieve, this need to bigger, better.
Yeah. It's the American way, right? It's leverage technology, double down, 10x, 100x, and even Elon Musk. I look at Elon Musk once in a while and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. His stock went up $150 on Monday. He made $7 billion. He came out with a new vehicle. He launched a rocket. And that's 1 week of this guy's life, right? And I'm like,
exactly.
What am I doing, right?
Yeah.
So there's the social mediaization of I'm not enoughness.
Yeah, this glorification of people that achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the mindfulness does not get a lot of votes when it comes to transformation in America, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that page. I tussle with that all the time, and my practice also has waned a little bit when it comes to, it's quick. With COVID, I started investing on the stock market a bit, and so I get up, and I'm on the West Coast like you, and I do a couple of things, and I'm like, okay, the market's going to open soon. Let me check it. And I'm not mindful anymore. I'm not in my practice. I'm out of it because my ego wants to go, were you right with what you did? Mm-hmm. Are you going to make big money and get to show everybody you made a big decision? Yeah. And I can see my ego doing it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I pulled out of the market mostly in March, and now I'm having some second thoughts. I was like, wow. Yeah, so these things, I'm looking back like, ooh, did I make the right decision? Like, but then like, what does it all mean anyway? Like what, even if I did have whatever more, what does this all really mean? So I think there's a lot that this whole uncertainty is teaching myself, at least.
I think that Mother Nature, the universe, what have you, has decided to give the entire planet a personal development Course in Miracles that you are going to do now, whether you like it or not.
Dealing with, I'll share the scooter story if you're.
Yes, please.
So 10 years ago, after leaving Facebook, and I was very blessed to be there at a time when I joined, it was 50 million users, and when I left, it was 500 million users. And that was part of the growth team, and we figured out how to remove obstacles from people doing a certain activity, which was using Facebook.
And little did I know that insight of how to growth hack, removing obstacles, would come in very handy for what I believe is truly the most powerful thing I could be working on. It's called VOMO, Voice Movement. There's a Time article, actually, separate from the cover that the bracelets were on, that's called Singing Changes Your Brain. And the subtitle is Group Singing has been scientifically proven to lower stress, relieve anxiety, and elevate endorphins. How many of you knew that? All right, good, half the room, cool. When you sing, musical vibrations move through you, altering your physical and emotional landscape. It's one thing to listen to music, right, that's coming at you, but when you generate it, it's exponentially more powerful, right? You're literally moving stuff that's stuck in the body. When we sing, it stimulates the amygdala, which is where we store emotions. And so, if you sing, and I often, you'll see when I sing, I close my eyes, the tears start just coming. It's stuff that I've been holding on to, stuff that is no longer needed for me, and it's being released. Imagine if you didn't go to the bathroom for a long time, how constipated you would feel, right? But emotionally, many of us are constipated, sadly. And so singing is a beautiful, free, easy opportunity to become unconstipated emotionally. And singing also strengthens the vagus nerve, as does breath work. And that helps us shift into the rest and relax, right? Because a lot of our days are spent fight or flight. And if we're in that state for too long, then we have dis-ease. And so by stimulating the vagus nerve, we get to build immunity, and we also get to feel connected with other people. There's a lot of research on this topic. I'm not gonna have time to go through the details, but I do have a session tomorrow if you wanna go into the details. And I'll just leave you with one last thought before we get into the experience, which is, think about getting a massage from a traditional massage, right? It's coming at you and it's relieving physical pain, physical disease. When we move our voice, it's having a massage from within. So we get to move all that emotional stuff. And we get to connect to something bigger than ourselves. So, in tribal cultures, if somebody was depressed, the shaman would ask one of 4 questions. When's the last time you sang? When's the last time you danced? When's the last time you sat in silence? And when's the last time you were enchanted by a story? In our culture, there's a lot of dancing. It's very culturally, socially acceptable to dance, right? Meditation is becoming more and more popular. Storytelling has always been with us, movies, TV shows, books. But singing, ever since the microphone and radio came about, somehow we stopped gathering around fireplaces and singing. Because we all of a sudden have the delineation between these are the professionals, they perform, and we're now consumers. And if I may, I believe a lot of the root of all the mental illness we're experiencing is we're just consuming everything. Whether it's music, art, food, we're not creating. And our spirit wants to create. And we want to sing, we want to feel free, we want to move. But because of the cultural inhibitions, we're not doing that. So I started thinking, okay, well, how do we get people to sing? Because, you know, the songs on the radio, they're not easy to sing. That's my friend Andy Barton. He and I were in a band together. We were at Facebook, and he was the lead singer of this the first ever Facebook cover band that we had. But he was the singer, and the rest of us were the other people, right? And then everyone was the consumer. And so I looked at singing, and I said, no, there's 2 big barriers to singing. One is the music is equivalent of, you know, like a double black diamond if you ski, right? It's difficult. It's medium to difficult. There's a lot of melodic variance, and there's a lot of lyrics. Okay, so we can solve for that because we can reduce the number of lyrics and we can make the melodies easier. And 2 is a mindset, right? Because we've been programmed that singing is about performance. It's about sounding a certain way. America's Got Talent. There's judges, right? But if you think about Soul Cycle, most of the people going to Soul Cycle are not going to go, you know, compete in the Tour de France. But it's an amazing workout. And so I started thinking about how do I create the ultimate singing experience? And I don't even want to call it singing because singing has so much baggage. People think singing and they think they have to sound a certain way, they have to have training, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, and by the way, that's beautiful. I have nothing against it. I enjoy that. But if you want the therapeutic benefits and you want to maximize for that, there's something called FOMO, which I'd love to share with everybody. How's that sound? All right. So with that, if we can kind of bring the lights down a little bit, and everyone just take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in. Let it go. Now everyone go. Okay. This is I feel like we have a choir. It's beautiful. Now try this and close your eyes. And we're just going to say let go. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Let go. Let go. Sing it with me. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. A little louder. Let go. Let go. Again. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. If you think about the longest journey we take as humans, it's between our head and our heart. And what's right between our head and our heart? It's our throat. And as we open our voice, we can connect the intellect and our spiritual side. And we spend so much time in our heads. For the next 10 minutes, we're just going to be in our hearts. It's going to go like this. Everyone go. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. So it's going to go. Get out of my head. Get out of my head. Beautiful. So it's going to go. And then close your eyes. Deep breath in. Get out of my head. Into my heart. Yeah. Put your hand on your heart. If you would like. Get out of my head. Into my heart. Yeah. Another deep breath in. Get out of my head. Into my heart. Yeah. A little louder. Get out of my head. Into my heart. Yeah. Get out of my head. Into my heart. Yeah. One last time. Get out of my head. as I started thinking about what songs we could get everyone to sing, I started going down the popular catalogs. But a lot of the popular catalogs, there were a lot of lyrics. So I said, well, maybe we could simplify it like this. Everyone go. Da 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 da, 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 da 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 da. Beautiful. The next part's gonna go. And I believe in miracles. Miracle is happening tonight. Da 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 da, da 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 da. And as we sing this part, think about what miracle you might want to have happen in your life. What we sing about, we bring about. So, da 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 da, da 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 da, da da da. If you want to clap, clap. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Miracles. I believe in miracles. Miracle is happening tonight. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Miracles. I believe in miracles. Miracle is happening tonight. Da 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 da, da da da. Again. I believe in miracles. Miracle is happening tonight. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Last time. I believe in miracles. Miracle is happening tonight. Da 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 da, da 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 da. If you wanna be my baby, it don't matter if you're why. Da 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 da. Again. If you wanna be my baby, it don't matter if you're black or white. Da 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 da, da 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 da. If you wanna be my baby, it don't matter if you're black or white. Da 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 da. Last time. If you wanna be my baby, it don't matter if you're black or white. Thank you, MJ, for that beautiful reminder. And as I went down this path more, I was like, well, why do we even need lyrics? Because lyrics keep us in the left brain, right? We have to remember things. But what if we could just flow? So let's try this. And originally I wrote this song for the people in Iran last year. But I think it's applicable for all of us going through any situation, whether it's in the Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. Let's go. Whoa. Go. Whoa. Together. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now there's a hand movement to this part. So we're gonna go like this. We are together as one. Like this. Everyone do it with me. We are together as one heart. Together as one heart, together as one heart. Yeah, it's after lunch. It's good to move the blood more, right? Ready? Here we go. We are together as one heart, together as one heart, together as one heart. Send that love out. We are together as one heart, together as one heart, together as one heart. Last time. We are together as one heart, together as one heart, together as one heart. Now, as I wrap up, we have a choice. We can go with a timeless classic, or we can go with kind of a fun song that we get to move around a little bit and play a little bit. Do you guys have a preference? Can we play a little? All right, let's bring the lights back up a little bit, and if everyone can just stand up for this last song, we're gonna have a little fun with this. We're gonna play a little bit. So, motion to me is helpful for remembering things. So, everyone go.
I've got my light, it's for shining. So just kind of go this, I've got my light, it's for shining, right? I used to be a caterpillar, so caterpillar is low. I used to be a caterpillar, and now I'm butterflying. So you got wings, like butterflying, okay? And then there's a second part that goes, hey, ho, got my butterfly wings, got my butterfly wings. And when we go to that part, we're just gonna fly around the room, like free as a butterfly, okay? So it's gonna go like this. There you go. I've got my light, it's for shining. I used to be a caterpillar, but now I'm butterflying. All together. Now I've got my light, it's for shining. I used to be a caterpillar, but now I'm butterflying again. Now I've got my light, it's for shining. I used to be a caterpillar, but now I'm butterflying. All right, now this part's gonna be fun. Hey, oh, got my butterfly wings, got my butterfly wings, fly around. Hey, oh, got my butterfly wings, got my butterfly wings, yeah. Hey, oh, got my butterfly wings, got my butterfly wings, yeah. Hey, oh, got my butterfly wings, got my butterfly wings to the top. I've got my light, it's for shining. I used to be a caterpillar, but now I'm butterflying. I've got my light, it's for shining. I used to be a caterpillar, but now I'm butterflying. Oh. But wait, there's more. I also have a project from a decade ago where I help people find intentions. And some of you may have received one last year. If you pick a word or you ask your family members for a word, we will put it on a bracelet for you. And I would love to gift every single person in this room, not only for you, but your close loved ones, your immediate family or maybe a few close friends. If you email me with some suggestions, feedback, or you want to collaborate, or just email me and say, hey, I'd love some bracelets. That's totally fine. Email me or message me on LinkedIn, whatever works for you. I would love to gift you, half a dozen bracelets. So, yeah. And thank you so much, Ariel, and Shirley, and Ben, and everybody for co-creating this magical experience together.
I met up with Chris Pan at Tokai Organica. Here's just one of his many secrets to creating a powerful brand experience that's made myintent.org positively impact millions of lives.
What is the real impact you're having? Is there impact, or is it just a gimmicky thing that's cool to try once, but really there's nothing there? I always go back to, how are we helping someone be a better version of them? That's ultimately our mission, and that's what makes me excited. That's what is fulfilling. Versus, hey, you know what? We sold if I get an order and I see certain words, I'm like, oh, this is just like merch. We're not in the business of selling merch. People don't want to wear merch. Merch just gets tossed in a drawer. But I see the orders that come in, and I see why people chose what they chose. I'm like, yeah, people are doing it right. We're having impact. Because it's easy to just kind of sell out and just take the orders or just do whatever makes the short-term cash. But ultimately, you're not fulfilling the mission. And be clear about the purpose of why you're in business.